Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insanely 13, as we are preparing to get underway here for the 7th race in this 9-race season for PPRL's NASCAR Championship. Your pole sitter for today's event has ended up being this man here, Savage Speeder, getting what I believe is his first pole in the series. So Savage is in the middle of what will be a pole starting position. However, we may end up seeing him willingly drop farther to the rear of the grid, so that way he can try and hook up with teammates and try to draft his way up the field. Real quickly, as the field is getting onto their tire selection of choice and begins to line up in proper grid order, let's go ahead and look at the championship standings as they are right now. Last place in the championship is still AEXIV with only 3 points, followed by Punisher, who has 17 points. After that is Ride Racer in 29th, he has 18 points. Deetsbeam is 28th with 19 points. XR Frosted 72 is sitting 27th with 20 points. 26th is Binzui, he has 27 points at this stage of the season. 25th is Cam Black, 83, he has 28 points. 24th is XMS Dragon 1 with 30 points. 23rd is Linemane 85 with 34 points. 22nd is Adam 24 with 39 points. 21st is FC Barcelona with 54 points. 20th is Dub 1775 with 71 points. 19th is Quiniba with 76 points. 18th is Taylor Weiler. He has 78 points. Then in 17th is Jim 3 LS79. He has 91 points. 16th is Duke 7390. He is sitting with 92 points. 15th is Zodiac with 109 points. 14th is Visible Rocket 98 with 116 points. 13th is JDM Culture, and Culture has 125 points. 12th is Royally Stone with 130 points. 11th is Link the Racer. He is coming off of top two finishes in the last 3 races. He has 135 points. 10th is Waterfire. He has 144 points. 9th is SRD Shredder with 145 points. 8th is PRG Black. He is last place of everyone who has shown up to every race thus far. He is at 153 points, but he is in a tie with Hockey 2487 and Lear Art. So Lear Art, Hockey, and Black all have 153 points at this stage of the season. 5th is Savage Speeder 88. He has 155 points. 4th is Boss Racer Pro 199. He has 156 points. And then we get to our 3 drivers still in championship contention. 3rd place is Ghost Reaper 617. Ghost is coming off of back-to-back 3rd place finishes, which is letting him close down on 2nd place Dawson 14. Dawson finished outside the top 6 for the first time last week, all the way down 12th, so he has fallen to just 206 points. And your points leader is Tazebot 44. He has 226 points. He has finished podium in every race but one this season, and the one race he did not get podium, he still came home top 5 in. Interesting circumstances in today's race, because coming into today's event, we had only 11 people take laps in qualifying. However, a bunch of drivers jumped in post-qualifying, so there will be a lot of randomness, a lot of drivers near the back of the grid that may not necessarily be back there on merit. Real quick, let's go ahead and look at the Teams Championship real quick. 10th is DBM, they have 3 points. 9th is Excite Motorsports with 30. 8th is ABR with 53. 7th is JFR with 71. 6th is Juiced Elephant Racing with 143. 5th is Fast Dudes Racing with 194 points. 4th is Susaki Motorsports with 224 points. 3rd is BWTR with 300 points. 2nd is XIV with 407 points. And leading the team's championship is Apex Velocity Motorsports. They have 443 points. In manufacturers, Ford is 3rd with 897 points. 2nd is Chevrolet with 1,017 points. And leading right now is Toyota with 1,086 points at this stage of the season right now. And that will give you the full rundown. We're going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break. We'll come back momentarily for the green flag here at Daytona. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Daytona. Field is currently getting ordered up, and we will be preparing for a green flag here momentarily, as we'll see Waterfire rushing around the backside of the track to catch up to the rear of the grid. And with that, we now are beginning to roll. Savage Speeder has earned the pole. I believe this is his first pole of his career in PPRL. I know it is the first pole of this season. He's not ran the last 2 seasons. He's been commentating for the last 2 seasons. So Savage Speeder doing great. Cam Black on the outside. He put together some solid runs at Sunset. It all kind of slipped away from his fingers near the end there, but he was my pick to win at Sunset. Daytona's a little bit easier of a drafting track, but the field is also a little bit smaller today as well. Cam on the outside might be able to make something happen. We also have Deed Speedman trying to recover from being involved in 4 different incidents last week. He qualified 6th. Again, Daytona's a little bit easier to drive. Deed Speedman is one of those people who likes to drive with sim steering. So keep an eye on him. And then when it comes to the championship, Tazebot is 3rd. Here's your points leader by big margin over his closest rival. His closest rival being Dawson. Dawson is starting in 10th position. As they come down to the tri-oval, we'll go green flag racing for 400 miles, and we are off, and it looks like Savage got a fantastic launch there. He's going to clear Cam Black with basically no issue whatsoever as we are underway at Daytona. Cam is going to easily be able to fall in line 2nd in this group. Taze is side by side with Ghost Reaper there for the 3rd position. Reminder, the other championship contender of the 3 is Ghost Reaper on the outside, but Ghost needs to win this race, and he needs drivers like Taze and to a lesser extent Dawson to be involved in accidents for him to seriously bring himself back into title contention. Coming on the outside is Cam Black. Savage Speeder holding the inside, and already a pair of lines have formed. Cam Black leads the outside line right now. Savage Speeder leads the inside. Savage has the car about 3/4 of the way ahead. Now he clears the number 84 as they come out of turn number 4. Is he going to come up to try and block the 84? No, he will not. So Cam Black will take that gold 84 Carvana machine, and at the line, he will lead the lap by just a little bit over, a little bit less than 3/100ths of a second that time by. So just about the entire field is all gathered up into one nice little pack at the moment, although it does look like our last 4 or 5 drivers are trying to make a little name of themselves, running a slightly slower strat, trying to peel away from this big group. They don't want to be involved in any big messes here. Oh, and that is someone off circuit back there. 1 driver off. That is Lion Mane. Lion is going wild through the back straightaway dirt. There's no damage to the car, but he flies onto track at a completely alternate angle. Somehow Lion Mane was able to keep it off the walls, keep it pointing straight, but he has lost the draft, and already his day has started rough. Deed Speedman is now trying to make something happen as he's gone to the outside. It looks like our pole sitter, Savage Speeder, is willingly going to the high side and just giving up positions, dropping back us a little bit. So Deed Speedman is being pushed here by Boss Racer Pro. So Boss Racer Pro and Deed Speedman, both of these driving number 2311 inspired paints. Deed Speedman in a Bubba Wallace inspired paint, while Boss is in more of a Tyler Reddick sponsored paint. Side by side at the front, but does not look like Boss Racer Pro was really committed to Deed, and Deed also is not committed to stay on the outside. The field single files out at the head, and now we see Deed go back to the outside as they come out of the final quarter, side by side at the line. It's still Cam Black who leads that time by, but there's still plenty of room for Deed to come back down in front. And he does. Deed is going to hold on to 2nd position for the moment. So this is a little bit interesting because the field is much, much more single-filed out than what we saw back in the season opening race here. So much calmer racing going on. This is number 31, Singular Wireless Chevrolet that Hockey 2487 is in. He is running back here with Dawson. The 2 of them hooking up, and now we see another driver looking at the outside, considering to run with him. Oh, but that green car slapped the outside wall. It's going to bleed off some incredibly important time. But if these 2 cars can make the outside line work, they should be able to charge forward. But it looks like Cam Black and Deed Speedman are actually pulling away from the field just a little bit. They are starting to gap the rest of the field right now. This is very early to start seeing this kind of big spread throughout the grid. But yes, Cam Black and Deed are driving away from the rest of the field right now as Boss Racer Pro and Tazebot are side by side here for 3rd behind. Now, typically this is something that we see from this series at Miami. In Miami, it's very common to see 2 cars or occasionally 3 cars hook up and just run away from the field. But right now, Cam Black and Deed Speedman are trying. They have a pretty significant gap between themselves and this side-by-side fight for 3rd position here. So everyone's single filed out, and that's let two people at the head of the field, two newcomers to the series at that, start trying to open a gap here. Now the gap's already closing back down, it seems. But that is an interesting move, and that could be a big move to see tried a little bit later in the run. But now Boss Racer Pro has led this pack right back up to the rear of Cam. Deed is still on the outside, and now he's got Ghost Reaper working with him. Taze is the third car on the inside line right now. Dawson, who is second in points, is back there on the outside line. He is the third car on the outside line right now. So the top 12 have all gathered back up. There is a 3-car pack of Gen 3 LS, Lear Art, and JDM Culture. They are running about 2.5 seconds off of this main pack. And then you got Lion Mane, who went off circuit very early on. He is running completely solo right now, but a much smaller pack here than what we saw, those gigantic 17-car packs at Sunset a week ago, and it's a lot more straightforward. There is an inside line and an outside line here. No one really seems to be trying to push for crazy third lanes right now. So real quickly, oh, well, as I say that, there comes that Kevin Harvick car. I believe that may be PRG Black. It is PRG Black, and that number 9 machine. He is trying to make the extreme outside line work all on his own. He has got no one working with him, but thus far, he is stuck in 9th, can't seem to make any massive progress forward. He's got Adam RPG just there on his inside, as is Adam 24, 1995. Adam 24 here, I believe, if I remember correctly, this is the driver that happens to be Savage Speeder's father, and Adam has been pushed below the double yellow line for basically the entirety of the front straightaway. Finally, he's allowed to merge back on track, but that's going to kind of break up the momentum near the rear of this pack. They'll catch the front half of the pack real quickly without too much issue, but it seems like the pack is not nearly as well organized as what we saw back in the 500-mile race way back at the start of January. Side by side between Deed and Cam once again. It's still Boss and Ghost Reaper side by side for a third position just behind. The inside line surges ahead as they go through turns 3 and 4, but then the outside line starts coming back on the run up to the start-finish straightaway. This time, though, it is Cam who's going to lead at the line once again. Deed cuts that gap down. Well, no, the game says Deed was the one who actually led the line. By about 0.004 of a second, apparently. Still, side by side, 6 columns, 2 rows. Although it does look like it might be, we may have lost another driver. It looks like Adam has fallen out of this pack now. He was really having trouble keeping pace with the rest of this field. He was getting pushed high, getting pushed low, got pushed below the double yellow line. It looks like now that the pack has completely shuffled him out. He'll be caught by the group of Lear Art Gen 3 and JDM Culture sooner rather than later. Real quickly, we ride on board with Hockey here in the number 31. He is last in this pack of cars at the moment. As we have clips 10 laps into the race. The sun is still out for the moment, but the track will get dark, likely around the time we start seeing the first round of pit stops conclude here. And the handling characteristics of the car will go through some significant changes, but the draft is so powerful at Daytona that handling won't matter too much unless you're pushing the tire wear out to like the 75-80% mark. So 2 RCR-inspired paints, one from PRG Black and one from Hockey, running nose to tail at the back of what is currently an 11-car pack here. But it is still Cam Black and Deed Speedman at the head of the field. Cam inside, Deed outside. Deed is the one who leads at the line that time by. Again, outside line is where you want to be on the run down to the start-finish straightaway. Boss Racer Pro is in 3rd. Ghost Reaper is in 4th. Now we see that Dawson has become the 3rd car on the inside, putting him right ahead of Taze. Dawson needs to pull out something fantastic and see some bad things happen to Taze for him to try and close back in through the championship fight right now. Still side by side. Real quick, let's go ahead and look at the fuel and tire consumption rate of our top drivers. 62.6% with 27.4% tire wear there for Cam. I look at Deed, who is running right alongside him. He is at 62% in the tank. He's at 20%. So Deed likely running a harder tire compound. Then I look at last place driver in this pack, which is currently Waterfire, the number 97 machine. He's got 21.4%. 62% fuel. So yeah, this is another driver who's running on a harder tire compound, has more fuel in the tank. Cam, less fuel in the tank, softer tires, use that to get up to the front nice and quickly. Hasn't really been able to do anything else, because that's the problem with Daytona. You get to the front and you're punching the hole in the air. You just pack the entire field right behind you here. Deed really committing to the outside line right now, and there's no lane on the inside for him to try and cut down into. But Deed seems to be happy with that by utilizing the side draft and the big runs you get coming off the banking in turns 2 and 4. Deed is still able to lead laps at the line, although that lap was actually led by Cam Black, apparently, by about 13 thousandths of a second that time. Now we're seeing that number 31 surging forward there on the outside lane, but as that's happening, Deed is going to look to the inside. Now he shoots back to the outside, gets a run on the outside. He's going to get that number 31 pulling up behind him. Here are the Chumba cars. They go just about side to side. The 67 tries to dive to the inside of the 84, made that move way too late. There was no room. Thankfully, nothing too chaotic happened. The 84 leads by a full car length over the 23. Now the 23 surging back on the outside line here, side by side, neck and neck at the line. The leader is Deed Speeman, just by about 10 thousandths of a second, maybe less. So now the 31 has moved up the grid quite a bit. Taze has fallen to last in this 11-car pack. Dawson is back there in 8th position. 3 cars on the outside, 8 of them on the inside line right now. A lot of this is going to be about positioning the cars and how much fuel the people near the rear of this grid are able and willing to save at the moment. I look at Tazebot back here in the 11th spot, last in this pack of cars. He should be in the position that he can save a lot of fuel. He's at 57% right now. For context, Deed Speeman, who is leading on the outside line, he is at 52%. So that's about 2 laps difference, or almost 2 laps difference, that Taze has already saved at this stage of the event. That could, if we have a really long green flag run, that could have some positive benefits. But the big problem within PPRL that everyone is aware of is that traditionally there's always at least one yellow with about 20 laps to go in these races that kind of annul most pit lane strategy. But it's still always worth trying, because if you can make these strategies work, you can be in a fantastic position if we actually have a long green flag run to the end. They come through turns 1 and 2. The 23 and the 84 still perfectly neck and neck as they wrap around the track. And the 31 gives the 23 a bit of a push at the line. It's still Deed Speeman who leads, so Deed already earning some respect back after what happened and the struggles that he had back at Sunset a week ago. We're going to go ahead. Once again, we look at Tazebot here. Continue to just run in the back of this pack. And then you have Ghost Reaper in the 27 back here with him. So while the very front of this pack is getting really, really chaotic, it seems like these drivers farther back are content to just run in place. Oh, and there's an accident! And the 8's involved! And there's several other cars! That's a multi-car accident right here in the pack! The 9 is one of the cars involved. The 8's involved! Oh, and the 78 nails the 8 in the door! As that pack in the rear of the grid could not avoid, they all could not avoid Savage Speeder. Ghost Reaper is involved as well. A multi-car accident at the rear of the grid. And that will put us under yellow flag for the first time today on lap 18. And you were right on board when you saw that happen. We're going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break. We will be back momentarily here at Daytona. That was interesting. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Daytona. Adam RPG is the only driver to have elected not to pit under this yellow flag. Everyone else jumped into pit lane. And with us not having to worry about anyone getting back on the lead lap, as everyone was still on the lead lap, we'll likely see the entire field gathering up momentarily here, and we could go green on lap 20 very early on. So everyone's going to be basically right on top of each other. It looks like it is Hockey, number 31 machine, that's gotten out of pit lane first, followed by Cam Black. So I'm guessing that Hockey either already had a bunch of fuel in the tank and then he put a lot more in. Yeah, that seems to be the case. Oh, Hockey just refueled. He did not change tires at all. He only refueled. So that's how he's jumped ahead of most of this field. Cam Black now pulling in. But he's all on a full fuel tank and brand new tires. And we'll see the rest of the field pulling up momentarily, I'd imagine. As everyone is here now. So we should be going green this time by. So it is going to be Adam, who has a light fuel load, but also worn tires. And then Hockey, who has a heavy fuel load, but also has worn tires. They are going to be the ones restarting at the front. But it is Cam Black in third, who he is the highest person of everyone who has a nice full fuel tank and brand new tires. And we're going to come to the green flag here. 141 laps to go when they hit the line. Adam 24 kind of holding back right now. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we are green. We are underway here at Daytona. Adam got a run all right, but look at that. Immediately, Adam goes to the, well, Adam RPG at the head of the field goes to the outside, and now we're 3 wide already going into turn number 1. What's going on? Why are you doing this? We're 3 wide for second position. Adam has a gigantic gap on the rest of the field. The field is going to catch them with absolute speed and just going to eat them apart. The 31's already plummeting back through the field, so it's going to be the 84 and the 67. They're closing in rapidly on Adam. They're both going to be way faster than Adam. What is Adam going to try to do to deal with this? He is on worn out tires. He's got full fuel load, but he's got a lower fuel load, worn out tires. Will the field back up behind him, or they try to dispose of him? Well, he's kept Cam Black behind him, but look to the outside. That's Boss Racer Pro, and Boss will complete the overtake. Boss comes down in front of the number 9, so the 67 goes to lead in just a single lap here. And look at that. That is Deed Speedman back on the outside once again in that number 23 machine. So Deed Speedman incredibly happy to try and make that outside lane work. He's got the 31 tucked up behind him again, trying to give him a push as they go down the back straightaway. The 67 is being pushed by the 59 at the moment. But again, we look at Adam, who is the second car on that inside line. He's got less than half fuel tank in the car. His tires are worn as well. So that reliability of him being able to push on that inside line is only going to get worse and worse before eventually he'll have to pull out away and earlier from the rest of this field here. Coming down out of turn number 4 and now to the start-finish line straight away again. It's going to be a pair of 2311 inspired paint schemes. It was Boss Racer Pro who led that lap by about 22 thousandths of a second. All 16 cars right on top of each other in a 16-car pack right now here at Daytona. About 1/8 of the way through the event right now. Someone gets into the outside wall back there. That was a big moment near the back. JDM Culture in the Gatorade machine licked the outside wall, came down into the side of somebody else. Somehow we did not end up with an accident, but that killed a lot of the momentum there on that outside line. JDM's going to have to try and catch the draft of those 2 drivers ahead of him to try and close up and make some room back here. Riding on board with JDM, you can see he's caught the draft of that number 31 car, so we should start seeing him surge forward just a little bit. Does not seem to be the case, though. He is not really making a lot of forward momentum, even when he has the draft of the cars ahead. Still 2x2 for the top positions. Now JDM gets a run. Now he's got the draft. Now he's starting to close in on the front 2 on that outside line right now. All right, so now this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting here. And once again, Adam 241995 forced below the double yellow and basically forced out of the pack. But now Deed Speedman and Hockey, they have gone to the lead. A lot of chaos as Cam Black and the entire inside line seems to have just completely died there. They are 3 wide farther back in this pack. But now is Hockey on the outside and Deed Speedman's the one on the inside. Side by side, 31 and 23. That time it was Hockey who led at the line, as the lights are beginning to go out here at Daytona. Well, the lights are beginning to turn on. The sun, oh, the 79 into the wall there. 79 is still in that outside wall. Gen 3 trying to get the momentum back, but the entire field's going to get by him. He might end up losing touch with the lead pack after slapping the outside wall like that there. Riding on board, I think he's just close enough that he might still... Oh, and the 31's in the wall, and the 31's in the wall, much, much worse. And Hockey, who had been right at the head of this field, but on worn tires and a low fuel tank, he's now out of it. He will lose touch with this lead pack of cars. As they come to the line is Ghost Reaper, who leads at the line with Boss Racer Pro and Deed Steam, and side by side behind him right now. And now they fire it back off. It turns 1 and 2 once again. The outside line really showing a little bit of bitiness. You need to respect working on that outside line. Otherwise, you will hit that outside wall, and it will absolutely kill your momentum and slow you way down. Gen 3 still trying to catch, but it looks like the 27 is backed off enough to let the 67 end up in front of him, and now Cam Black has come back into the fray. Cam Black had fallen down the order just a few laps ago. Now he's back up front. It's Savage Speeder, who was involved in that big accident earlier. He is now the driver leading on the outside line. There are a lot of drivers just constantly varying between positions, trying to figure out where they actually want to be in this pack. Savage Speeder now on the outside being pushed by the 23. No, that's not the 23. That is the 45. That is Lear Art, who is trying to push him. As Cam Black is holding the inside, the pack's really kind of spread out for a moment. We'll likely see it gather back up by the time they get down there. Now Lear Art's going to try and make it 3 wide. 3 wide for a lead as it goes down the back straightaway. The 45 trying to rip right the long way around. He's got a little bit of drafting help from behind. Is that going to be enough to get him by the number 8? He's still side by side with the 84. The 9 is going to push the 84 as well, and the 45 loses his drafting help. He's now going to fall down to about the 5th position. Savage Speeder, Cam Black side by side to the line. It's going to be the number 8 who leads at the line, but that may have been by... No, it's a Cam Black led by 12 thousandths of a second apparently. And now the number 9 gives the 84 a push back, and there's a big accident. That's the field. That's about half the field involved. They're still wrecking. Ghost Reaper slams under the brakes and avoids most of the carnage, but just about everyone who wasn't first, and then about 2 or 3 other cars got away, but everyone else was involved. And that will basically be the entire field there, and Adam again involved in another accident, and his car is absolutely totaled here in turns 1 and 2. But Cam Black was going to come out here with the lead, and Savage Speeder, who was involved in that and got shunted in the outside wall, still is going. Are we still under green? We might still be under green. Nope, we're under yellow now. They waited a long time to call the yellow for that one. Well, now that we are under the yellow flag, we're going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break. We'll be back momentarily here at Daytona. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Daytona. The entire field has elected to pit under this yellow flag. That's great news for Adam, because if even one person stayed out, he would have gone a lap down. But now, Adam 24, 1995, he is technically still on the lead lap. He just has to rush around the entire track to hook back up to the rear of this grid. Excuse me. And we should be able to go green on lap 30. Someone is going backwards there. What is Tazebot doing? Whatever Tazebot is doing, he drove backwards to go back into the pit lane, and now there's a distinct possibility we may not go green at the end of this lap, because I don't know if Taze is going to catch the rear of this field. I know Adam will. Adam's got plenty of momentum. He'll catch them by the time this group is going through 3 and 4. I don't know if Taze is going to catch this lead pack, though. Now Taze is rolling out of pit lane, but the entire field is doubled up. I don't know what was going on with Tazebot, our points leader. Now both Adams, Adam RPG and Adam 241995, will be back there in 14th and 15th spot together. And here we are. You can see 24 is closing in with speed now. Taze still getting up to pace. I think he'll catch him, though. I think we should be able to go green this time still. So it's going to be Cam Black on the inside, and Savage Speeder, who was pounded into the outside wall in that accident, he's still going to come out of this second. So these two were at the front just as that accident happened, and they're still going to be here when it's all over. Your points leader, Taze, still has not yet caught the rear of the grid. We're just about to come to the green flag, and there we are. He's here, so we'll go green this time. A long wait by the leaders to go, but Cam is going to catch the entire field sleeping as he rockets forward and immediately opens up a gap on Savage Speeder. Savage is going to fall down to the inside line, try to follow behind Cam. Boss Racer Pro and Waterfire, teammates in the 67 and 97 Chumba Casino machines, trying to make something happen. They run just about nose to tail. Already, they've closed in on Savage Speeder, and now Boss Racer Pro looks to the outside. He's going to try and bring the 97 with him. What in the devil? The 67 goes high, low, high again. And now he's back to the outside of Cam Black. That really broke the momentum that Savage Speeder had, and now he has fallen well down out of that lead pack, or that lead trio, I should say now. So the Chumba Casino cars trying to do some drafting shenanigans. The 31's into the outside wall farther back. They're still 3 and 4 wide. That's the 4 going into the dirt back there. What in the devil is going on? Somehow they all keep it together, but they all seem to barely have any grip on the track, it seems. These drivers here in the rear of this grid keep ending up in scenarios where they're losing touch with the rest of the field. This is going to really spread out the pack. We might see most of the people in the rear pack here not be able to catch back up to the lead group. Somehow, though, everyone still stayed facing straight enough. The big question, of course, is going to be Lion Mane. Is he still close enough to get a draft off of Hockey just ahead? Hockey is going to be close enough, I imagine, to get a draft off of the Adams, and the Adams are backed up behind Deed Speeman. Then ahead of him is Lear Art. So the rear of this pack is all spread out. But now look at this, Dawson. They're second place in the championship. He needs a good run. Well, he's put himself in a good position right now. He is right behind Cam Black on the inside as the Chumba Casino cars are still trying to make the outside line work here. And now Dawson backing off. Dawson wants to not be right there in the front. He wants to be in this bigger pack, a monster of a pack. Look at this, they're 3 wide as they come up on Dawson. And the outside line, the middle lane as well, is going to freight train Dawson. He just did not have any speed coming down the straightaway. Dawson is going to fall right into the middle of this giant glut of cars. They're still 3 wide. I can't believe we're going 3 wide this early in the race. We're not even a quarter of the way through. They're still 3 wide. And everyone keeps it just enough out of the wall, I think, except for it is once again Adam 241995 who hits the outside wall coming out of turn 4. He's going to lose a huge chunk of time and he'll fall behind Hockey. Now, he might still be able to catch up with Lion Mane, and the two of them might be able to make something of it. Otherwise, it looks like Hockey, Adam, and Lion Mane, their races are all basically derailed. But at the front, it is Cam Black leading Boss Racer Pro and Waterfire, and they have a 8-10 second gap over this big glut of cars. The rest of the field, does this giant pack have the momentum to try and run down that top 3? Adam RPG trying to lead them here with Savage Speeder on the outside. They've closed down to within 0.8 of a second now. Are they close enough to start getting a draft off of the last car in this group? I think they are. It looks to me like Savage Speeder has legitimately caught their draft, as has Adam, and that duo is going to continue to close in on the lead trio. As long as this pack doesn't start wrecking, Taze forcing it up the middle. He wants to make it 3 wide. He forces it up the middle, and Dean Speedman trapped on the outside. He's gonna fall a little bit farther back in this pack of cars. Adam and Savage have taken out about 0.2 of a second in that last lap. Not closing as much this time, but the gap is still shrinking away. Now look coming to the outside. That is the number 45 of Lear Art. Lear Art looks to the outside now, come back down to hold that normal outside line, this 2x2x2 pack. Cam Black, Boss Racer Pro, and Waterfire also run nose to tail, but there is no shot of them outrunning this big pack of cars. This big pack of cars just have too many vehicles in it, too much potential speed. So even though they're not very well organized, they're just able to truck away to close down on this top trio now. They're coming down out onto the back straightaway again. The gap is now down to about a 4/10, or about 2/5 of a second off of the lead trio. We look at Savage Speeder, right on board with Savage Speeder, in fact. Savage now falls in line behind Adam, and Adam surges forward. He moves ahead. Now they're side by side. The Chumba cars are not willing to keep running side by side. This is it. We're going to start seeing some actual action here. Savage is going to commit to the inside, but Adam RPG is going to go to the outside. The 67 of Boss Racer Pro also goes to the outside, and Savage Speeder is now caught up right behind his biggest rival on track, Waterfire. Remember, these two don't like each other, even though there have been efforts by Waterfire to try and work out some sort of drafting strategy with Savage. Savage says, I'm not interested in working with you. Look around the extreme outside. That's Lear Art again. Lear Art trying to make something absolutely insane happen. But he'll fall in line. No, okay, that's not Lear Art. That is Deed, actually. Oh, and Deed's in the wall. And now he's hemorrhaging time. Didn't lose too much time, but he's going to go right back to the rear. I do apologize. The 23 and the 45 cars have close enough color schemes. I keep conflating them. So Deed now falls back to 9th in this pack, but he was trying to make it work. The extreme outside line, 3 wide there. But it is Cam Black and Boss Racer Pro. They are your 2 leaders at this stage of the event. 79 now hits the outside wall once, now twice. Loses just a little bit of momentum. Adam RPG still trying to push that Chumba Casino car on the outside, while the other Chumba car is giving the 84 push. So it does seem like Cam Black really knows what he's doing, and while a shot at the win kind of fell apart from him back at Sunset, he's still right in the middle of the thick of things right now at Daytona. A few drivers have broken off from the rest of the field. That is Hockey, Lion Mane, and Adam. That trio have all caught each other, and they're all in a 3-car draft with each other away from this big glut of cars at the front. So we have a 13-car field right now. Tazebot is last in this pack, and I have to wonder as I look at him, is he just here trying to save fuel, or is he back here because he's not confident, not capable of making moves in this giant glut, this giant pack of cars? Once again, 67 on the outside. Now the 97 looks to his inside. The 97 trying to make something happen. Waterfire on the inside. He falls back in line behind the 84, but Waterfire was looking to the inside, and that really broke up the momentum of that inside line just a bit. But the outside line is not organized enough to capitalize, and now look at that, just as I was saying, Taze stuck in the back. Seemed like he couldn't do anything. All of a sudden now Taze is up into 8th. While it looks like it's 2x2x2, everything that's not the top 4 positions seem to be changing and shifting significantly lap after lap here. Oh, Boss into the outside wall. Is anyone going to work with Boss? We see Adam RPG leading the middle lane, and now he'll slot in front of the 67. 67, big slide as it came out of the banking there. So that's going to break up the field. Now Boss goes back to the outside. He's going to be the one trying to push Adam RPG on the outside line now. This spreads out the field just a little bit, but they'll all be gathered back up in about a lap as Deed and Savage are still close enough to immediately get the draft right back almost right away. A little bit of contact between Savage and Deed there. Savage really rubbed Deed very high. But again, they have caught it 3 wide again for the lead. What in the devil are you all doing? That's Boss on the extreme outside. Adam in the middle. They come off of the banking. Boss is going to get a tremendous run down the straight, but he's going to back out. He instead chooses to fall in line behind Adam. So Adam RPG leads the normal outside line, but we keep seeing drivers try to make the extreme outside work. Speaking of which, here's Deed. Deed did not learn it from his lesson about 5 laps ago. He's still trying to make that extreme outside line work. He'll fall in line behind Adam RPG once again, and now it looks to the extreme outside. They're going to be 3 wide as they come to the start-finish line. The leader that time at the line was Adam, apparently. And Deed now falls back in line behind that 59 machine. But Deed shows no loyalty to any line. He shows no loyalty to any driver. Deed is absolutely willing to hustle it, trying to make the extreme outside lane work here at Daytona. 84 still inside, 59 on the outside. This time the 23 is not making any big moves, and this entire lead pack all comes down a bit. Just for the moment. 4 cars on the outside line right now. 8's running just a little bit farther back. 3rd car on the inside line. Tazebot back in 10th and Dawson back in 12th in this pack. You have to wonder about those 2 drivers. Are they trying to save fuel? Do they want to save fuel to get onto an alternate strategy, get away from this big glut of cars, and try to give themselves a track position advantage as this race goes on, if we get a long green flag run? We've not had a green flag run longer than about 18 laps thus far today. Well, actually, 17 laps thus far today. Deed's still trying to work the outside. He's got one of the Chumba Casino cars working with him, but seems like Adam RPG has enough of a grip on that outside line that Deed is not able to get to the outside of him. Not for now, at least. 84 still leads on the inside. 59 still on the outside. As JDM Culture back there in the 9th spot, and that Gatorade machine. He's briefly considering making it 3 wide, but he's not going to force it, not when you're still in the middle of the pack here. But he's starting to lose ground there on that outside line. Is Deed going to the outside again? He thought of it. He briefly was looking to make it 3 wide. He looks again, but Adam RPG comes up and blocks any run that the 23 would have. So they stay locked in 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 step here. At the head of the field, the front 4 rows, 2 by 2 by 2, but then you get out of the top 8, and the drivers behind, I think they're just trying to save fuel at the back of this pack to try and give themselves a better position later in the run right now. Amongst those drivers are Tazebot, Ghost Reaper, although right now it does look like Dawson in 10th just ran a little bit ahead. So all of our big championship contenders right now, this is going to be really, really interesting. Because if you're trying to save a bunch of fuel at the moment, you could end up with some significant track position later, especially if it's the drivers ahead of you pull off in an organized manner and don't really hold up your momentum, don't really hold up your line coming out of turn 4 now. Still 2 by 2 for the top 4 drivers. That is Gen 3 LS, who got in the wall several times already today, but he is back into the top 5 positions. We are a little bit past 1/4 distance in this race right now. Again, Deed Speedman looking to the outside, but you can see Adam RPG. I think Adam's biggest thing is that the thing that may keep him from being able to outrun Cam Black every time they get to the corner, Adam RPG is really trying to keep that 23 of Deed Speedman behind. We keep seeing him move that 59 Red Bull machine up high to cancel any run the 23 might have, so the 23 won't try to make it 3 wide down the straightaways coming off of the big banking here. Now there are 5 cars on that outside line. One of them is that Goodwrench number 9 machine. 59 still there. Falls to being side by side for second, but surges forward with that big run coming off of the banking. Still neck and neck as they come across the line. And Adam RPG leads that time. That entire outside line is so squirrely. They get so much big runs and so much big momentum, but they do not seem to be very hooked up. They don't really seem to have any honor amongst themselves. They're not really willing to hook up and try and push the drivers ahead. They're more interested in trying to just get big runs, and then whatever happens, happens. The inside line, by comparison, is significantly more organized. A little bit of contact there between Deed and Waterfire that time. Here comes Boss Racer Pro on the outside. It's Boss who's working the extreme outside line. Boss is the driver who's going to pull up alongside the 59 ever so briefly, but can he make any good momentum coming out? There's still 3 wide there in the middle of the pack. Nothing there, nothing that time. And it will still be Adam RPG who leads, but Boss Racer Pro now is second on that outside line. Deed Speedman trapped on the outside. He has nobody working with him. He's now on that extreme 3rd outside line. He'll fall in line, back in line on that outside line. Inside line is so much better organized. It's slower when you get to the start-finish line. The inside line almost never leads a lap at the line, but the inside line is significantly less incident-prone. Again, Dean Speedman looking to the outside as they come down to it here. And he's not the only one. Boss Racer Pro looking up high. Oh, the 97's going to make a move. Waterfire tried to get to the inside of the 84. Could not make it stick. That is Hockey who is slow. And Lion Mane is slow as well. We do not know what's happening to these drivers. Have they had an accident of their own? They have. Hockey and Lion Mane, that 3-car pack by themselves, all somehow had an accident of their own. I don't know how in the devil you have a multi-car accident in a 3-car pack, but somehow they did. Oh, and that's Adam into the outside wall. We're all still straight. Everyone's still pointing straight, but there's 3 wide. They're nearly 4 wide. And that's Savage to the outside wall. Savage's spear is around. He's backwards. Any damage to Savage's car? There's some aerodynamic damage, but that seems to be it. The rest of the field, though, still together. Will they throw the yellow for that? 84 on the inside. Deed Speedman and 23 on the outside. Is there any yellow for that incident? Still side by side at the head of the field here. There are 3 wide farther back. Tazebot being forced below the double yellow back there. And now the yellow flag falls. So it's going to be one of those races where we are just cursed to never get any long green flag runs, it would appear. This is good news for Hockey. He'll get a lap back. And for Lion Mane, he'll go from being 2 laps down to just 1 lap down. On lap 49, we are under our 3rd yellow flag of the day. Or 4th, I'm already losing count, crap. But we're going to go ahead and take a Twitch mandated ad break. We'll be back momentarily here at Daytona. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insanely 13, as we are under the yellow flag once again. And assuming that the entire field will be able to group up, we should be going green very shortly here with about 110 laps left in the event. This seems to be one of those races that are just cursed to not have any long green flag runs. I don't think we've had a single green flag run last longer than 17 laps today. So strategy is basically out the window. It all seems to just be coming down to, hey, where are you at in this big glut of cars when we get to the end of this race? Again, no stages or anything like that. It's all just going to come down to being a matter of where you're at the end of this field. And if we keep getting yellows like this, it's going to be really randomized. The entire field already driving by. Everyone's gathered up. Hockey is at the rear of this grid. So is Lion Mane. So Hockey did not get a lap back through it all. So we have 2 drivers, 1 lap down. But our top 14 are all still on the lead lap right now. Again, we had an accident between Hockey and Lion Mane. They were in a 3-car pack. The 2 of them and Adam, somehow they wrecked. We were not focused on them because we were more focused on the lead pack. And then we had a multi-car incident at the head of the field where Savage was the only driver with damage. About 6 to 7 other drivers, I'll do the little hand thing for you, got involved in an incident there. That kind of derailed stuff a bit. Everyone's gathered up here, 2 by 2 by 2, and we'll be going green with 110 laps to go here at Daytona. So we're not quite 1/3 of the way through the run today. And we're off. And it is JDM Culture who is leading on the inside line. Cam Black, who has been a fixture at the front of this field, is leading the outside line this time by. 26 staying just ahead of the 84 at the moment. But we'll see that outside line get that big shove as they come off of the banking and go down the straight here. We see Dawson. He'll jump to the outside. So Dawson has been a high line warrior all day today. The Chumba Casino cars looking to the inside. They're going to double up. Waterfire and Boss Racer Pro on the inside. Cam Black has gotten to the inside. Dawson's on the outside. How many times have we seen this duo? 84 and 23 at the head of the field here at Daytona. Looks like Hockey may have already hit the outside wall and is losing touch with his lead pack. Dawson leads at the line that time by. Or not, no, it was Cam Black apparently by 11 thousandths. And now that is PRG Black on the inside, giving the 84 a push. He's right on that double yellow, enough to where I'm almost concerned that the 9 is going to lose stability bouncing off of the apron there. But he stays under the leader for now. The 23 on the outside is being pushed by the 45 of Lear Art, a pair of 2311 machines trying to make the outside line work still. Dawson has been the high line warrior all day long, but he has not been the only one. Lear Art is right there behind. Lear Art shows that there is no honor amongst thieves, or in this case, no honor amongst the high side of the track. As it comes to the line, the leader this time is Dawson, by a pretty healthy margin that time by Daytona standards. Still side by side though as the field fires it off. Returns 1 and 2 again. Once more, that 9 is running that extremely tight line. He's getting those left side tires right on the inner of the 2 double yellows. And I'm so concerned that the 9 is going to lose control being that far down on the track and is going to shoot up the circuit into the rest of this field. So it looks like, with the exception of last place Hockey, everyone is still in this big pack of cars right now. Black now gets to the outside there. Outside line was compromised a bit, so now Black gets to the outside. He'll be the one leading the outside lane now, and it is JDM Culture who is going to be second on that inside lane. Look back here, farther back. This is Tazebot back there with Dawson, 2 of our championship contenders. In fact, honestly, Ghost Reaper is in the middle of that group as well, so all 3 of our title contenders running 11th, 12th, and 13th right now. There's not really been any significant showcase for these 3 to try and do anything. Neither of them have really been happy to try and lead laps today. All of them just want to run in the back of this pack, save a bunch of fuel, and try and let the race come to them. The thing is, we keep having yellow flags, so there's hopes that strategies just never, ever get any sort of chance to play out here. Number 4 is on the outside there. That's Adam 24, 1995. No, that is not. That is Lion Mane, actually, isn't it? Yeah, it is Lion Mane. Lion Mane is the one in the number 4, as he is running a lap down at the moment. 45's been squeezed back a bit. And Black surging back on the outside, trying to do something against Cam Black. There are a lot of blacks in this field in the form of PRG Black 30 and Cam Black 83. There's a lot of Adams in this field in the form of Adam 24, 1995 and Adam RPG. There's a lot of Chumba Casino in this field. There's a lot of repeats, and it looks like we've actually got a small bit of split in the field all of a sudden. This pack that Taze is leading now, Taze and Savage, have now lost the top grid just a little bit. Now they're close enough, they'll still catch the draft and immediately suck right back in to this pack of cars, likely by the end of this lap, but it's not like this pack is permanently glutted together. They do spread out a bit, but the draft is so strong that the moment they spread out, the draft brings everyone right back together. Waterfire on the inside. Well, Waterfire is on the inside here in this back of this lead pack. 3 wide there is a PRG Black trying to make the outside line work. Nothing you can really do there. Dawson on the outside, but does not have enough momentum. Cam Black will be the one to lead at the line that time by. Oh, that's the 45! That's Lear Art who's around. He's hard to the inside wall. The car is spinning as he has gotten turned coming out of the tri-oval and has pounded the inside wall. That little inside wall just between the infield entrance of the road course and the pit lane exit. That was a humongous hit that Learart has taken. It looks like we stay green, though, at the head of this field. So we lose another driver from this lead pack. Deed Speedman still trying to make the outside lane work here. They're going to be coming up on Learart's damage machine momentarily. Look at PRG Black. He looks back to the outside. Deed is the one who moves up high to deny him the momentum. And every time that you come up and deny that extreme third lane, you kill your momentum and you let the inside line have a free lap lead. Well, a free lap that they get to lead. And again, if that's how the end of this race plays out, we may see a scenario where the inside line is where you want to be. Because there's just no honor on that outside lane, it would appear. Boy, poor Learart, he is potentially going to fall 3 laps down once this is all over with. He'll need a lot of yellow to try and get back onto the lead lap. Once again, as they come down to the start-finish line, it was Deed Speedman who led that lap by my reckoning. By 7,000ths of a second at the line is what the ticker says. Trying to get 3 wide back there again. That is PRG Black still on the outside line, but he's got that Red Bull machine of Adam RPG who wants to try and snooker his way past. Adam wants to be higher up on that outside lane. Still 3 cars in a line on that outside, trying to make something happen here. About 3 to 4 cars on the inside. And this time, Cam Black got a fantastic momentum burst coming out of the corner. He actually pulls away from JDM Culture just a bit, but it is still going to be Deed Speedman who leads at the line. So we'll see JDM Culture get a huge bunch of draft, I'd imagine, and close right back up behind the 84. Again, this pack seems to strain out, but it never gets strung out enough that the draft goes away. Now we see Black goes to the inside. He's going to start pushing Cam on the inside. So a pair of Black-named drivers on the inside line as Deed Speedman has Adam RPG working with him on the outside. Now Cam briefly comes up high but won't commit to it. So Deed has this run on the outside. Will that be enough for him to lead at the line? Not quite. Cam still led at the line that time by. Still side by side for the top 4 positions. Savage Speeder trying to close in as well. He's back here in the 6th spot. That is Dawson working the outside line. He's bringing Taze with him. So 2 of our championship contenders moving back up. Oh, they're 3 wide at the head of the field. What in the devil are you all doing up there? And they barely make their way by lap traffic. They were 3 wide at the head of the field for a moment. That was terrifying. And they're still 3 wide. What is Dawson doing on the extreme outside line? He's all by himself. He gets into it with Tazebot, your points leader. Dawson's still on the outside line. I think Dawson and Taze may have realized, hey, look, our strategies aren't going to play out. We might as well just try and work our way back to the front of this field and try and make something happen here because we're not going to get a long green flag run here to try and get onto an alternate strategy. So now these drivers are saying, okay, well, we're going to have to start fighting mano-y-mano in this big glut of cars here. Dawson looking to the inside. Look at this momentum he's got. He's going to go right up to 3 wide for 2nd position. Nearly 3 wide for a lead here. And that's going to shuffle PRG Black to the extreme outside where he has no drafting help. He's going to fall to 3rd on the outside line. But Dawson has had enough trying to save fuel. He has moved up. Taze has actually gone back down to 9th. But Dawson has said, I've had enough. I'm going to just go for it. I'm going to start fighting for this win here. I don't have a shot at trying to take the points lead back from our current points leader, Taze, unless he's out here at the front fighting for this. That is what I imagine Dawson is going for right now. Taze, though, seems to be content to run farther back in the grid, likely still trying to save fuel, trying to get onto an alternate strategy. Gen 3 has lost this pack, as has the lap car of Learart. So we may see a smaller pack of lap cars farther back there form, but right now we have 12 drivers in this lead pack, technically 13 if you count the lap car of Linemane, barely holding on to the back of this field. Extreme outside line, here comes Dawson. but he's not willing to commit to it. He falls back in line behind Dean Speedman. He's going to have to commit back to give him the 23 a push. Cam Black actually comes a little bit high. He leaves just enough of a lane open that if I'm PRG Black, I wonder, do I try to go for a big lunge on the inside of the number 84 machine? Still 2x2x2 at the head of this field. A look at this green number 25, Adam, 24, 1995. He's just hanging out at the back of this grid, able to save fuel. He's running back here with the Chumba Casino duo, Waterfire and Boss Racer Pro. So those Chumba Casino cars, they were up at the head of the field earlier in this run, but now as we're a little bit later in the run, they've all dropped to the back to save fuel. Dawson, 3 wide. Oh my goodness, Dawson is really going for it now, working the extreme outside line. There's still 3 wide, and he's got cars working with him as well. Dean Speedman on the middle lane doesn't have anybody working with him. Still side by side as they come down to it. Dawson gets a little bit of a push from behind by JDM Culture. Can he clear these drivers as they go into 3 and 4? Not this time, not here. The 23 is still holding it there in the middle, and the 23 is actually going to clear the 96 as they come out of turn number 4. And now the 23 is going to go back to leading the outside line of the 2 car, and now here comes Dawson back to the outside. No one seems to want to work with Dean Speedman. Everyone, though, knows that Dawson, who is a championship contender and one of the head admins of the series, they know that going with him is a big, good, strong idea. They are still willing to commit and work with him. And all the while, you look at Cam Black on the inside in that gold number 84, and he's like, come on, people, give me a break. There's still 3 wide. They've been 3 wide for half a lap straight. They're going down the straightaway. There's still 3 wide, and the big push by Dawson once again as they go into turns 3 and 4. All right, can the 23 try and clear the number 96 by the time they come out of turn number 4 again? The answer is not quite. He's not going to be able to clear the 96 this time. 3 wide as they come to the line. They've been 3 wide at the lead for an entire straight lap. The leader might have been Dean Speedman, but may have been too close to call. Still, Dawson trying to work the extreme outside line. He still has a 26 of JDM Culture pushing him as they go around through here. This is going to either end up fantastic or end up in one of the biggest instances we've seen this season. We're seeing drivers near the back of this grid backing out. They do not want any part of this. One driver is down below the WO line trying to fall back down the order just a bit. Still, Dawson working the outside line. They still can't get away from this 3 wide fight. They have been 3 wide for a lap and a third. There's contact of the 96 in the outside wall. However, the field was spread out just enough. They were able to avoid a big multi-car stack up. Although someone is around further back. Is that Dean Speedman? It is. Dean Speedman went around coming out of turn number 4. There's no damage to the car, but any chance he had at fighting the lead is done. And Adam just got turned into the wall as well. Adam's been turned into the wall. His car is destroyed. I don't know why Adam got turned into the wall there, trying to avoid a car that was already off lane and getting back up to speed, but Adam got hooked while they were trying to avoid, and the 45, that's the second time now that Lear has had an accident as well, in almost the exact same part of the track. I don't understand when we have these big packs, everyone's able to keep it together, but it's these smaller groups of 1, 2, 3 cars, they are the ones that are having these gigantic issues that are leading to the yellow flags. And speaking of which, we are under the yellow flag again here on lap 68. We're going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break. We'll be back momentarily here at Daytona. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you back here to Daytona. We are still not yet halfway through this event. We're on lap 69, nice, of 160. After just a series of bizarre circumstances, we ran 3 wide around the track at the lead for about 2 laps. But then it was Dawson hit the outside wall, bled off some time. Now, he didn't hit anything and nobody hit him. But in the process, Deed Speeman, who had also been involved in that 3 wide at the front, he got turned as they came out of turn number 4. Now, he didn't hit the wall. He just got turned, bled off some speed with a big, prolonged, lazy slide. And then, as he was merging back onto the circuit, he didn't even get back on track proper yet. He was getting back up to speed, but he hadn't even got back on track proper yet. And then, some of the drivers at the back of the grid, who were multiple laps down, crashed basically in a straight line for no good reason, going through the tri-oval, trying to avoid a car that had a very lazy spin, trying to avoid a different car who barely hit the outside wall. The entire field's, well, not quite the entire field is gathered up here. We're still waiting on Learart, who is way farther back, so I don't think we're going to be going green this time. Nope, we're going green. They say we do not care about Learart. So we go green a little earlier than anticipated here on lap 70, and immediately Waterfire very nearly gets turned. He'll chop down in front of the number 8. Savage Speeder already has made it very vocal. He does not like Waterfire. These two go together about as well as water, well, boiling water and molten salt. Now the 8's going to go to the outside. That is Savage Speeder trying to make the outside lane work. He's closing back in on Cam Black at the head of this field once again. But he's got no drafting help right now. Absolutely nobody else is on that outside lane, basically. Until you have to get way back here near the rear of this giant pack of cars. All right, out of the banked corner of turn 4, the rear of this grid is completely fallen off, it seems. JDM culture back here. So is hockey. So is line main. It's really weird. The field got very spread out very early on this restart. But now they're starting to group back up here at the head. Oh, look at that Adam RPG kind of forced to the outside line. I think we're at the point where everyone now kind of realizes we're not going to have a long green flag run. And if we're not going to have a long green flag run, you might as well get elbows out and just try to go to the front as fast as possible. Because it's better to be at the front and try to keep people behind from getting by you than trying to move to the front late in the running when there's not a lot of time left to make mistakes. That Adam, again, yeah, not Adam RPG. I think that was Adam 24, 1995, who got pushed below the double yellow again, coming out of turn 4, so that'll drop him to last in this pack of cars here. He has been involved in so many incidents, most of them seeming to be out of his control. Right on board with this machine as he looks at this pack just ahead. It is Cam Black and Adam RPG, the top 2 positions right now. Adam leading on the outside line at the moment, and he's going to cut down in front of Cam Black. So that's taking a long time, but we finally see someone on the outside say, okay, I've had enough of the outside. I've paid my dues. I'm going to come down and chop down in front of the leader of the inside line. So Adam RPG now goes to the inside line, and here comes Deed Speeman in the number 23 Lados machine. Side by side to the line again. It was definitely Adam who led at the line that time by. Tazebot, third car on the outside, and then his closest championship rival, Dawson, third car on the inside. Adam gets the car pushed ahead, going the shorter way around through the corners. Here comes the field. Quick flyby. Still the 59 leads on the inside line with Deed Speeman being pushed there by Ghost Reaper. Mind you, Ghost is another one of those drivers in the championship fight. Taze is right there. So yeah, all 3 of our title contenders, Ghost Reaper, Taze, and Dawson, have all said we're tired trying to save fuel. We're tired trying to make alternate strategies work. These drivers do not have what it takes to stay green for a full fuel run Let's just go wild and get to the front as fast as possible now. Still side by side, 4 rows deep. At the head of this field, JDM Culture has lost touch with the pack, though. He is about to go a lap down. And then you have Learart, who is already 2 laps down. He has also lost touch with the field. So we're on track to see only 14 drivers on the lead lap momentarily here. But when they catch JDM Culture, it's going to get really interesting because they're going to have to try and dispose of lap traffic. That has been a challenge that no one's really been experiencing today. There's a little bit of there's a lot of contact going on, as once again, that is PRG Black trying to work the extreme outside, trying to make it 3 wide as they go through here. Now, he's near the rear of this group, so he can just fall back in line in the second lane. But still, there has been no willingness to just calm down and take it easy here by the majority of the field. And now that our championship contenders are in on it as well, that's really going to add to it. It looks like Deed Schmeeman is now going to fall well down the order, so it is now Ghost Reaper. Third in the championship coming in. He's going to work the outside lane out. He's going to chop down in front. So Ghost Reaper now goes to the lead, and here comes your points leader, Tazebot. He is now the driver leading the outside line. So Taze leads the outside line, and now we see Adam RPG goes back to the outside to give Taze a bit of a shove. Dawson, who is second in points, is back there, 6. He's the third car on the inside, and the leading car on the inside is Ghost Reaper, who is third in points coming into this event. So right now, if they all finish where they are right now, Dawson would continue to lose ground to Taze, but we would see Ghost Reaper close in a lot more on Dawson, and Taze would maintain most of his points lead over the rest of the field. This is now kind of come down to a 7-car main pack, and then you have the likes of Waterfire, Boss Racer Pro, and PRG Black just trying to hold on to the rear of this grid. I assume that PRG Black is still close enough that he can get the draft off of that Chumba Casino duo and make something happen, but even if that's not the case, he can always fall back, hook up with Adam 24 1995, and try to make something work. Yeah, it does look like that Black is not able to hold on to this big pack of cars, but now this is now down to a 9-car pack, it seems, as they are starting to lose PRG Black for the moment. As I say that, he just caught them. Just as I say he had lost that, he caught them right back right away. And again, they are closing in on JDM Culture. That will be the first time today that we'll see this lead pack have to deal with lapping traffic here. When you catch them on the straightaway, that may not be a problem. Just tell JDM Culture to pull down below the double yellow, no problem. If you catch them in the corners, or heaven forbid the tri-oval, you are in for a world of potential hurt. Tazebot gained a huge shove on that outside line, but Ghost Reaper doing a good job leading the inside this time by. So now that all our championship contenders have really gotten their elbows out, the complexity of who is at the head of this field has gone through a significant change. We saw a long period earlier that Chumba Casino cars were up at the front. That's not the case. We saw Savage Speeder at the front. That's not really the case. We saw Learart at the front. Now he's 2 laps down after being involved in an accident, a single car accident. But still, the drivers at the front have changed. The only ones that really haven't changed, Deed Schmeeman's still up here in the front trying to make moves, and Cam Black is still at the front trying to make moves. But everyone else in this lead pack right now, about 5-6 cars, it's not the same people that we were seeing up at the front earlier in this run. Taze on the outside, Ghost Reaper on the inside. Remember, Tazebot had that side-by-side finish with SRD Shredder and ended up beating him to the win here. So Taze has won the last 2 restrictor plate, well, you know, what we would call by normal standards restrictor plate races here at Daytona, the one at Daytona and the one last week at Sunset. Could Taze try to sweep the plate tracks this season? He definitely has the ability to do it. He's in the right position to maybe make that happen as well. And now the field closing in on lap traffic here. Outside line surges quite a bit. Now, presence of JDM Culture is going to make things really interesting. I think they're going to catch him in the corner. Oh, boy, if they are catching him in the corner, this could become a problem. He's going to be on the outside line by the looks of it. And will let the field pass. He's going to likely fall back and try to just hold on to the rear of this pack as they move forward. So he'll now be 4th car on the outside lane by the looks of it. Still, Tazebot on the outside and Ghost Reaper on the inside. Still side by side behind as well with Adam and Cam Black. Now about 4-car pack farther back with Hockey, Adam, Gen 3 LS, and Lion Mane all on top of each other. So they're about 4.5 seconds off this lead group. So if an instant happened at the head here, those 4, while it didn't work out the last 2 times we've had instants, or I should say 3 of the last times we've had instants in this entire race, they might be far enough back that they could potentially avoid an incident. But this main 10-car pack continues to steam around here, briefly looking to get 3 wide. As a 23 farther back there, he slides really wide, trying to go 3 wide, but doesn't seem to be able to time the runs as well in these big packs. So real quickly, let's look at the fuel and tire wear of our lead pack. 22.5% here for Taze. I look at Ghost Reaper, who's leading on the inside. He is at 23% on his most worn tire. Taze, that's not Taze I need to look at. It is Cam Black, who I'd want to look at. I look at Cam, his most worn tire, 31.9% right now. Adam RPG, oh, we've lost Lear Art. Oh, dear. And that would be our first disconnect of the night. We'll try to reach out to Lear Art, see if he has anything he wants to say about what's been a frustrating run here. But it does look like Cam Black is burning through his tires a little bit faster than the others. All right, coming to the party right now is Lear Art. Lear Art, can you hear me? And we have a caution. We've had an accident back there. It's that small pack again, the smaller pack of cars. Hockey is one of them, and there's one other car involved in the incident. Again, it's not the big pack at front causing these accidents. It's a small one at the back. All right, Lear Art, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can. I already included my audio too, don't worry.
All right, Lear Art, big accident earlier in the event, a huge hit on the inside wall, put you multiple laps down, and now you've dropped out just past the halfway point. What took you out of the race there?
So, honestly, I wasn't even planning on racing tonight in the first place because of the 8-hour Watkins Glen race that was earlier on today. I did 4 hours in that, and then I did another race after that, so I was just exhausted. Kinda just did this for points because I was so high up in the standings and just wanted to get to halfway to collect my points. But for the accident, I don't know what was going on there. My wheel just kind of hooked to the left and I was in the inside wall. Couldn't really do much about it.
Well, it was a humongous hit. Shame to see that happen. Which lobby were you in during the 8 hours Watkins Glen? Because I also got to cover a small stint of that race.
The bronze lobby.
Oh, okay, so you were with VER Bruno.
First 2s. Yes, Bruno was the host for all 4 of the stints. Taze was first 2, and I was wrapping up for him. We got 5th for bronze lobby, so top 5 is nice.
Hey, that's pretty solid to hear at least, mate. Well, at least you had some solid result in something today. Kind of a shame that everything at Daytona's just kind of fallen by the wayside. In a week's time will be the race at Watkins Glen. What are your anticipations of what you can do there?
Now, I can probably do a lot there. I should be top 3, top 5 at least. I'm good at them road courses.
Oh yeah, that is true. You've definitely proven that before, so we'll definitely keep an eye on you there. Lear Art, thanks for jumping in and talking with us, and you've done a lot of racing. If you want to go ahead, take a break, go to sleep, absolutely feel free. I think you've earned it.
All right, have a great night, man.
All right, well, that's the word from Lear Art, our first disconnect of the day. But again, for the umpteenth hundred time, it's not this big pack at the front that's had an accident. It was another accident there. And that smaller pack that's been running solo farther back in the grid. There's still 2 cars in that. That's Adam 24, 1995, and Lion Mane. But this main pack of about 10 cars here. Game seems to think that Deed Speedman is a lap down to the rest of this pack. Don't know really what's going on there. There we are, now it's fixed. But this main pack of 10 continues to be very aggressive here. It is still your first and third place drivers in championship. Tazebot and Ghost Reaper leading right now. We are on one of our longer green flag runs of the day. But I still do not have a lot of confidence that we're going to, based on how the racing has gone thus far, I don't have confidence that we're going to go to a full fuel load. Tazebot still has 40% in his fuel tank. Ghost Reaper, who's leading the inside line, he still has 40% in his fuel tank as well. And the way things are going, it just seems like more yellow seems almost likely here. Still 2x2x2. 5 cars on the outside, 5 cars on the inside. His entire lead pack separated by only about a tenth of a second. That's a more accurate. Yeah, about half a second. Normally, I want to run with overall time and not intervals. I should have been running that earlier. This makes it a little bit easier to keep an eye on how the pack is actually moving. I don't know why I had it on the wrong thing earlier. Gen 3 technically is still on the lead lap right now, but he is running solo at the moment. He is not the other one. He has Hockey just a little bit up the road. I wonder if Gen 3 and Hockey might try to hook up to try and get some laps together in the draft. Still, Tazebot and Ghost Reaper side by side at the head of this field. With Cam Black and Adam RPG behind them, then PRG Black and Dawson, then Dean Speedman, Savage, Speeder, Waterfire, Boss Racer, Pro. It has been a 10-car pack here for the longest chunk of this race. Real quick, let's go ahead and ride on board for a lap with the Chumba Casino machine from Boss Racer Pro. Give you an idea of how much fuel you can save at the rear of this grid here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ride for a full lap on board with Boss here and bring up his telemetry to show you how often he is getting off the throttle, giving you an idea if he is actually trying to save any fuel at the back of his pack here. Big lift there coming out of the tri-oval, but he's back on full throttle here. Will he try a lift again as they come off of turn number 2? Yeah, it's another lift. Not as big of a lift, but he still lifts again, coming out of turn number 2 that time. Another lift about 3/4 of the way down the straight. A big lift going into turn number 3. We'll lift again, coming out of turn number 4. No lifting out of turn number 4 that time, but a lift about halfway between turn 4 and the start-finish straightaway. And now, just for comparison, let's ride on board for a lap with Ghost Reaper. Is he full throttle all the way around or not? As he falls in line behind the 84 now. And now he's a big lift as he tucks up behind the 84. And that's Black surging by on the outside line. A humongous head of steam by that 59. Another lift there. We're probably going to ride on board the 84 for laps, get an idea on if he is trying to save fuel. Because now that this driver is behind the 84, he is doing a lot of lifting here. So let's go ahead and now we see Adam goes to the lead. So let's see about Adam. Is he lifting at all? Well, that seems to make it pretty clear. Adam is not lifting. PRG Black is still pushing him, but we saw the 27 Ghost Reaper. He was leading on the outside line, but he is now pulled out of the lead. He's now third on the inside, and now, once again, all of our championship contenders are not really trying to fight for ground anymore. They're back to just running in this pack, trying to save fuel. So now that we're in one of our longer green flag runs, I think a lot of our championship contenders are now thinking, okay, well, we need to start saving fuel to try and prepare for what could be a long green flag run to get some good track position off of that. Gen 3 now is going to be pitting, so this means that he will not be a factor for his lead pack. They're not going to catch him. But yeah, this is going to get pretty interesting here, because we now are starting to see a lot more variety when it comes to pit stop strategies as we are under one of our longer green flag runs. And now, you look back here, a big breakaway. Ghost Reaper, Taze, and Dawson all let off a huge chunk. So did Waterfire and Boss Racer Pro. We're still under green. These drivers are still going, but they're trying to really figure out a way to maximize their fuel save. Right now, oh my god, 77% tire wear for Waterfire. whatever tires he's on, it's the wrong one, and his handling's only going to get worse and worse. This trio is going to completely lose touch with the lead pack, and they're going to be back to running in a pack of back into running in what is basically clean air, which is going to slow them down significantly. Also, hello, Dr. Ice. I see you in the chat. So Dawson, who is now 9th in this pack, he's at 21.5% in the fuel tank. I look at Cam Black, who is leading right now. He is at 17%. He's got 60% wear on that right rear tire, though. I look at Adam RPG, who's trying to work with this outside. He's at 17.7, but he's only at 44.5% right now. I think tire life is starting to become a problem, though. Waterfire, along with Boss Racer Pro, and then that lapped car that is with them, that is JDM Culture, they have lost touch with the rest of this field. Waterfire pushed the tires on his machine way too far. He's in the 70% range. They probably should have let Boss Racer Pro be the one leading this little train of cars. And honestly, right now, I feel like the 67 should get in front of the 97 if they want to try and salvage anything, but no, it seems like everything has gone bad now for this trio. So a horrendous strategy call, and now is just a 7-car pack at the head of this grid. Taze is the last in this pack of 7. It is Adam and Cam Black at the head, and Savage Speeder, Deed Speedman, then PRG Black, Ghost Reaper, and Tazebot. Dawson pitted. I missed it, but Dawson has pitted. But not only is Dawson pitted, no, he's not pitted. What happened? Something must have happened to Dawson that I missed while I was focusing on something else. Dawson has completely lost touch with the rest of the field. And for a second place driver in points, who had a bad finish at Daytona, now he's lost touch with the pack. Now it's just a 7-car pack at the head of the field. And it's first and third in points. They're ranked 6th and 7th in position to save fuel here. 10% left here for Tazebot, so he can probably stay out there for about 2 or 3 more laps. So he'll likely pit around lap 100. And then could probably go to the end on just 1 more stop. I think everyone here has 2 more stops, but the exact difference between when everyone makes their stops and who they end up pitting with could end up having a big effect on how the rest of this plays out. But once again, Dawson derailed out of a top run here, as we are in our longest green flag run thus far today. Adam still trying to make the outside line work. Cam Black still on the inside here. I look at Cam. How much fuel does he have? He surely can't be staying out much longer. His tires are falling off as well. He's at 6.16% fuel as they're coming down to the line. Now 5.8. 5.7, the 5.6% at the line for Cam. He's got this lap, probably one more, but he's not going to be able to make it past lap 100. And now he falls back. He's going to let the other drivers go by him. Ghost Reaper on the outside. He was leading earlier, but he's also saved a bit of fuel. He's at 5.5 right now, but he's likely going to have to pit. In fact, I think we might see nearly this entire pack of cars come in at the exact same point. Lion Mane's pitting back there from the 11th spot now, so he's likely but again, he is one of those drivers who's kind of stuck on his own. So now we're late enough in the race. We finally have a long green flag run. The field is really spread out. There's Savage Speeder. He is still on the outside line. 3rd car on the outside line. Is this it? Is everyone going to come in and pit at the same time? Yes, the entire lead pack pits at the same time on lap 99. So now we look back to this group. Waterfire stays out. Boss Racer Pro stays out, as well as does JDM Culture, who's a lap down. So Waterfire, despite being on these terribly worn out tires, he's at 86% of the tires. He is still on it, but Waterfire doesn't have a lot of fuel left, and his tires are absolutely cooked right now. Boss Racer Pro finally going to go around the outside, finally take the lead of this little pack. So who in that big pack of cars will end up being the leader? Dawson is briefly going to go up into 3rd, but again, he still has to pit, though. But he'll only have 1 more stop. Well, no, he'll still have 2 more stops. So who's leading in this pack of cars coming out? Well, it looks like the answer is Adam RPG is your leader, with Savage Speeder right there on top of him as this group is starting to accelerate up to speed now. And it looks like all 7 cars are also right on top of it, so it could still be any of these 7 that take it to the end here. So everyone pitting at the same time means that there's not really a lot of wildness going on when it comes to the pack stringing out and then coming back together. They're all immediately together. Still, Boss Racer Pro and Waterfire have not pitted. Does Waterfire have the fuel to make it to the end? No! He's out of fuel! Waterfire's out of gas! He's out of fuel! Why did he stay out so long? His tires are beyond cooked. He has no fuel. Why did he go so long? And now he's just holding up to 26. Boss Racer Pro makes it into the pit lane without issue. Waterfire basically has to be pushed in here by that Toyota Gazoo racing machine. What was their strategy? What was going on? Why would you do that? Well, now the lead goes to Dawson, but I imagine he'll be pitting. Yes, he does pit. So now it is Savage Speeder who is leading on the inside line in this pack of cars here. A 7-car pack at the head of this field right now. They are going to re-inherit the lead here with 58 laps to go as they come across the line. And they are starting to come back up on Hockey in that singular wireless car once more. Boss Racer Pro and Waterfire now have an absolutely gigantic gap between them, so neither Boss or Waterfire will have draft to the end. In fact, everyone basically who's not the duo of Lion Mane and Adam, they're basically solo or in this big pack right now. Savage leads the inside line right now. Cam Black, who has been an inside line guy most of the day, he is now coming to the outside in that number 84 machine. The 8 shoves just a little bit wide, then comes back down to try and block PRG Black. Still side by side for these drivers. They go back across the start-finish line. They are barreling down on Hockey. They're likely going to catch them in about 4 laps or so. And then they'll have to navigate traffic. They've had to navigate traffic once, but when that happened, the traffic went to the extreme outside line. We don't know what Hockey's strategy is going to be right now, though. Tazebot, last in this pack, does not seem to be really pushing. He knows that Dawson is down there in 12th, and he already has a significant gap in the points over Ghost Reaper. I think Taze is happy to just run at the back of this field and try to let whatever happens, happens. I think a 7th place result, while I'm sure he would prefer to maintain his streak of finishing in the top 5 every race, I think a 7th place result might be fine for Taze, because unless Ghost Reaper wins, Taze is not really under threat of losing his position at the head of the championship. Cam Black on the outside, Savage Speeder on the inside. Savage Speeder was your pole sitter, but has been involved in a few incidents, been falling back through the grid, now back up here at the head of this pack. Cam Black and Deed Speedman have been absolutely fantastic. For both of them, this is only their 2nd race in the series, and both of them have been putting on some incredibly strong shows. Cam Black especially, but Deed Speedman has been no slouch. He has been trying to make that extreme outside 3rd lane work time and time and time again throughout the event today. It's gotten him in some interesting spots, but he has shown absolute willingness. And the one time he was stuck in the middle of 3 wide for multiple laps in a row, Deed Speedman held on to it with minimal issues. It wasn't until after the 3 wide ended that everything kind of slipped away from him. So again, Deed Speedman and Cam Black, absolutely phenomenal newcomers to this series, have really been punching well above what you would expect from newcomers here. And then you have PRG Black. Black is in an interesting position because he is top 10 in the points coming into today's event. But the thing for PRG Black is that he is last place of all the drivers who have started all the races thus far this season. Black is last of them. While he has a good result, a good standing in the points right now, it's only off the back of showing up. He wants a good result to actually put a good mark on this season. Black has been up here fighting very aggressively, been able to lead laps, been able to push when needed as well. If we can stay green to the end, Black, being right here in this lead pack, is in a fantastic position to make something good out of this day today. And now we're seeing them coming up on that number 31 singular wireless car once again. 4 cars on the inside, 3 cars on the outside. Your 1st and 3rd drivers in the championship are at the back of this little pack here. And now they're coming up on the 31. What is the strategy going to be? How are they going to try and navigate him? This is Tazebot, last place that we ride on board with here. Deed Speedman on his outside right now. Black on the outside of the 2nd row. Adam RPG on the inside of the 2nd row. Now it looks like the 31 just gets off the gas and lets the leaders pass him, so that he will not be too much of an impact in this here. Still, it is Savage Speeder and Cam Black at the head of this field. Now, these drivers at the head of the field, it's going to be really interesting because everyone pitted with 61 laps to go. If we stay green to the end, the question is going to be, how far can you take a fuel tank? What in the devil happened to Savage there? Are we under caution? I don't think we're under caution. Yeah, I think we're still going. But whatever happened to Savage, that's broken up the field. Now it's a 3-car pack up ahead, and then you have this 4-car pack. They're just outside of the drafting range of our top 3. So now it's Dietzbeeman, PRD Black, and Cam Black at the head of this field. And Dietzbeeman is the one working the outside lane. So this pack that had been a 7 cars now goes down to a pack of 3 and a pack of 4. So this group, Ghost Reaper, Tazebot, Savage Speeder, and Adam RPG, they have to try and figure out a way to organize themselves and try to run down this lead trio. Black being pushed now by Cam Black, and Dietzbeeman is on the outside. He probably feels a little bit relief not having to hold an entire lane of cars behind him. Yeah, whatever happened to Savage Speeder, somehow he was able to save it, but that has split up our lead pack, so the field has really spread out now at this stage of the race. And I'm going to be really interested to see if this group gathers back up. I think Taze and Ghost Reaper might be just barely fast enough. They may be able to close this 7-car pack up together. But the thing is that these drivers back here, Ghost Reaper and Taze, all that fuel that they were saving running in the back of this group, they're going to have to burn it now, going hard to try and catch this lead trio again. So any fuel that they may have saved, we're going to see a big chunk of it go away now, but they have caught them. They have caught the lead trio once again. So the pack of 4 was just organized enough to close back in, and we'll be back to a 7-car pack at the head of this field. Adam RPG has got to be feeling absolutely frustrated because he was right at the head of this fight at the head of the field. But we are back to a 7-car pack here at Daytona. As we're coming down to it, when we get to the line, it will be 50 laps to go. We're going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break here. We'll be back in about 2 laps or so at Daytona. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you back here to Daytona. We are less than 50 laps from the end here as we are under our longest green flag run of the day. We have come down to a 7-car pack at the head of this field. It is PRD Black, who is leading on the inside line. Dietzbeeman is leading on the outside line. The drivers at the back of this pack are trying to save some fuel, but they're not really in a position to save a gigantic amount because the pack is so small now. The drivers at the head are punching a big hole. The big thing is, everyone made their last stop with 61 laps to go. Can you take a fuel tank 31, 32 laps? If so, it's an easy 1 stop. But if you don't think 30 laps are capable, you might be in trouble. You may have to figure out a way to save fuel either on this run or on the final run here. Also, when we had our last run, all 7 of these drivers, they all pitted at the exact same lap time. There was no spread between them. So they all pitted as a group, and they all came back onto the track as a group. Now, we did have a bit of a moment where Savage Speeder got turned sideways in the middle of this pack, and it broke the pack up into being a group of 3 and a group of 4, but it took them about 5 laps, and they all merged back together. They're closing back in on Hockey, 24.87 again. Hockey is already 2 laps down, likely going to go 3 laps down momentarily here. Other drivers to keep an eye on, Gen 3 LS 79 is also at risk of going a lap down before this race is over as well. And if the pack catches Gen 3 in a opportune time, Gen 3 may add himself to this pack of cars, and by adding another car to this group, the energy and the momentum in this lead pack will change a bit. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Real quickly, looking at PRG Black, he has got half of his fuel tank left right now. I look at Ghost Reaper, who has been saving some fuel throughout this run. He's got 52%, so it looks like everyone here is going to be able to make it to about 129. 130 might be asking a bit, but I think 130 is possible. I think there's possible. We'll see everyone in this pack pit either uniformly at 129 or a little bit of a split amongst them as they decide to pit on either lap 129 or 130. Gen 3 is going to pit, so he is not going to be a factor in this lead pack. Looks like, once again, Hockey is going to go below the double yellow line to let the lead pack go so he doesn't end up holding them up too much. But that has led this pack to single file out a bit. We are now single file for our top 4 positions here. Tazebot now briefly into 4th. Adam RPG on his outside. Then he has Ghost Reaper. Then you have Savage Speeder, who is 7th and last in this glut of cars right now. He's at 47% fuel. He is last in this pack. I look at Deed, who is fighting for the lead of this pack. He's at 45. That's really only about 1 lap of fuel difference between the drivers at the head, the drivers at the back. Now, if Savage at the back continues to save fuel, maybe he can make it 2 laps of fuel. But when everyone pits here, they're going to have to put in 100% of their fuel tank. This green flag run is just likely not going to be long enough to really... that got really close to the outside wall there. But this green flag run is not really going to be long enough for people to try and make something happen with a lighter fuel load to the end. And really, I don't even think there's going to be any advantage of it in trying to run less fuel to the end. Just chuck in a full fuel load when you pit. The question is just going to be, do you want to pit on lap 129 or do you want to pit on lap 130? I don't think anyone's in a position they can pit earlier than that, and no one looks like they're going to have the fuel to pit later than that. So there's likely going to be about a 1 lap difference. They are 3 wide back there. And Adam RPG briefly actually ends up below the double yellow. Oh my goodness, is Savage Speeder and Adam, are they going to lose the lead pack of 5? We might see Savage Speeder and Adam RPG lose the lead pack here. We'll see. I've said that before, and then the gap immediately closed back down. And yep, there it is. Now we're seeing Savage Speeder closing the gap back down. I think we're seeing a lot of these people kind of calming down a bit, but Deed Speedman is not anything about calming down. He is elbows out. He has been committed to the outside line. He is not worried about saving fuel. I think he just wants to go for it. He wants to be fighting for these positions. Some drivers one driver, I won't say the name, not to protect the identity, but because I legitimately forgot who it was. One of the drivers were critical of Deed Speedman's performance back at Sunset, because while Deed Speedman was up at the front and led laps, he was involved in no less than 4 separate accidents. 2 of them, which were absolutely his own fault, single car incidents, all by himself, losing control. Deed is one of the few drivers in this series who runs with sim steering right now. But Deed seems to be out here trying to prove something, say, look, I'm deserve to be with you guys. I can run just with you guys at these drafting tracks. And he's definitely shown it, been very aggressive here, but not excessively so, not dangerously slow. At this stage of the race, 11 drivers are still on the lead lap, but the next driver likely to lose a lap would be Dawson. The thing is that Dawson does have some drafting help in the form of Lion Mane, and that might be enough to keep Dawson on the lead lap to the end here. But again, for those of you curious about the championship fight, Tazebot, your championship points leader, and Ghost Reaper, who is 3rd in points, are still in this lead pack of 7. Dawson had been in this lead pack, but something happened. I don't know what it was. I completely missed it somehow. But Dawson was in this pack. He's now completely lost touch with this pack. and is on track to what may be another 12th place finish. That would be likely enough to kill Dawson's championship hopes almost completely. While it wouldn't mathematically remove him from title contention, it would be very close to removing him from title contention here. Still, PRG Black leads on the inside, and Deed is on the outside. Side by side with Cam Black for a moment, but we'll see Deed surge back ahead as they come out of the banking. Now across the start-finish line again. Once more, I look at Deed, who has been nose into the air the most. He's gone through about a little bit more than 2/3 of his fuel tank right now. Then I look back here at Ghost Reaper and Tazebot. Ghost, who is 7th in this pack, he's at 34%, so that's about a 3% difference in fuel right now. So again, drivers near the rear of this group, Ghost Reaper, Taze, they might be able to stay out an extra lap if they so choose. We do not know what their choice is going to be, but that's going to be the thing here, because this 7-car pack, it really does look like anyone in this group of 7 can do it. All 7 of them have shown the ability to get to the lead of this group at will, lead laps, and they all have also shown the willingness to drop back to just try and save fuel at will. Deed is the only driver, I think, in this group who has not spent any time today trying to save fuel. He has been the high line master, trying to run it high, wide, and handsome all night tonight, pretty much. Still neck and neck between PRG Black and Deed Simeon. And again, I said this earlier, but I think it's worth mentioning. Black is going to come home with a decent points finish one way or another, just because it is so likely that he'll be able to show up to the rest of the season. And by showing up to every race of the season, you earn a third of the rate. And if you had a 24-car pack, last place would get a third of race winners' points. So if you can show up to every race over the course of the season, you will be in a fantastic position points-wise. But of everyone who has been to all the races, PRG Black has by far been the weakest of them. He would love to try and turn things around, love to try and walk out here with a win. I'm sure a podium would be nice as well, but he would really love to go for a win. And he is showing that he has the merit and he has the speed to do something with it. He has been able to make moves at will. And now I really think a lot of these drivers are just trying to save fuel, trying to get to that lap 129 to lap 130 mark. And again, Deed Speedman, the only driver on the outside line. No one is on the outside with Deed Speedman right now. Everyone else is single file, just trying to save a little bit of fuel. Cam Black briefly looks to the inside of PRG Black, but is not able or willing to commit to the move. You can see that duo, that is the lap car of Lionmane and Dawson, who is still barely on the lead lap right now. About 36 laps left in the event. Black is down to 21.5% in the fuel tank. I look at Savage Speeder, who has fallen back to last in this pack. He is at 22.3% in the fuel tank. I look at Tazebot, who had been saving a little bit of fuel earlier, we believe. He's at 23.7. I think some of the drivers near the back of this grid may be using their gas again, trying to force their way up the grid once more. This is Ghost Reaper in 6th, 23.1. Compare that to Deed Speedman, 18.3. Deed may have to, if everyone else here is committing to pain on lap 130, Deed may be in trouble. I don't think that Deed's going to be able to make it to lap 130. I think he'll be able to make it to lap 129, and pit on 129. I see no way that Deed's going to be able to pit on lap 130. But again, whether you pit on 129 or 130, you will be in a position that you can run to the end from there. The only thing is, if Deed pits solo, that will be an entire lap where he has no draft and the rest of the field does, and that could end up really derailing any shot that he had of a win here. He's showing a lot of capability, but if he's not managing his fuel as it comes down to it, it's going to get frustrating. All right, so as we are starting to close in on what should be the final round pit stops for the leaders, we're going to take a Twitch-mandated ad break, and when we come back, we'll see everyone duck into the pit lane. We'll be back momentarily here at Daytona. He might make it to 130, actually. He might. I think everyone here might make it to 130. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here at Daytona. Our lead pack of 7 have gone down to single file formation. We are anticipating everyone's going to be paying either at the end of next lap or the lap after that. And then it will be a sprint to the end between these 7 cars, assuming that no one has any mistakes, no one has any problems in the pit lane, and assuming that nothing else brings out a yellow flag. But again, every race this season, we have had 1 yellow flag in the last 30 laps. Every oval race this season, we have had at least 1 flag in the last 15 laps. But if we stay green, we are still looking for what could be a very wild sprint to the end. This is it, lap 129. Who is going to go ahead and pit this time by? We're anticipating that Dawson, who had been on the outside for a long time but has now fallen to 7th, trying to save fuel. We anticipate that he's going to have no choice and he will have to pit this time by. The rest of the field, though, the top 6 here, we don't know if they're going to be pitting at the end of this lap or if they're going to try and make it to lap 130. Again, if you go to lap 130, you know you're good on fuel. You don't have to worry about saving. You pit on lap 129, you will have to figure out a way to save a little bit of time. They're all coming in on lap 129. So everyone is going to have to go 31 laps here. So everyone, the top 7 pits at the exact same time. So very briefly, we're going to see the duo of Boss Racer Pro and Waterfire. They had been with this lead group, but they let Waterfire run an absolutely awful tire strat, and Waterfire hammered so much time in the process that he basically forced himself and Boss Racer Pro to fall way down the grid. They have lost touch with the lead pack for all intents and purposes, but just for a moment at least, the Chumba Casino cars will be 1-2 on track once again. Coming out of the pits, who is first out? It's Dawson. Oh my goodness, Dawson did not change tires. Now, he has a gap on the rest of this field, though. I don't know why Dawson didn't change tires. Oh my goodness, that might be enough to derail Deed's entire run. Adam RPG and Savage Speeder side by side. There's Tazebot and there's Ghost Reaper as well. And Dawson is being eaten alive by the rest of this pack already. I don't know why Dawson didn't change his tires while he pitted. But now he's going to have no capability in fighting as this race goes to the end here. Someone is slow coming down the straight. Is that Adam coming out of the pits? Yeah, I believe it's Adam who's just come out of the pits. That would explain that. Dawson now in the pits. Dawson is going to inherit the lead. He'll be leading this pack, but with burnt up rear tires, Dawson is going to be in an absolutely awful scenario right now. The 8 being pushed on the outside by the number 59. The 00 pushing a 23 on the inside line. Boss Racer Pro and Waterfire now finally make their stops. They can probably make it a little bit shorter of a fill, but they have lost so much time to this lead pack that's just not going to matter. This is Tazebot and Ghost Reaper back here in 6th and 7th. And then there's Cam Black in 8th. Now, these drivers, of course, are all going to move forward. Interesting thing is Cam Black here is last in this pack, so he took the longest amount of time in the pit lane right now. He's still close enough to have the draft on this duo. And yes, now Boss Racer Pro and Waterfire are coming out of the pits. Dawson's still on the lead lap, interestingly enough. And someone has come to a stop there. That is Boss Racer Pro. As he spun or wrecked the car coming out of the pits. They didn't change the tires. That's the second person that did not change tires on their final stop. I don't know why, but Boss Racer Pro did not change tires on his stop, and his tires are completely cooked. I don't know what the strategy is, but we keep seeing this happen. All right, Dawson already seems to be plummeting through this pack. I think it's very likely we see this pack go down to being a 6-car pack with the way that Deed's tires are going to be falling off here. But it is Savage Speeder and Adam RPG neck and neck at the head of this field now. Adam has been very, very aggressive, but he's also been good at leading this outside line. He's not just throwing the car on the outside line for no purpose, just hoping it sticks. He has been pretty good at making it stick. And look at this back here. Look at Dawson and the lapped car. That is Lion Mane. They are running side by side. My guess is that these duo are going to try and run side by side So when this pack catches them, none of them are able to get by. They may be trying to just hold on to their positions on track so they cannot go another lap down for Lion's case or go a lap down at all for Dawson's case. This also may give Dawson the ability to have a bit of an impact on where Taze ends up. Because again, remember, Taze is your points leader coming into the event. Dawson needs Taze to have a bad run right now. If Dawson can do something, really back up whatever line Taze is in, that might be enough to put him back in contention. Deed Speedman trying to work the outside line again. His tires are burning up. He's got the fuel, but his tires are burning up, but he is still committing to the outside line for whatever reason. Some people are just built different, and I guess Deed Speedman is one of them. Coming down to it will be 25 laps to go as they come across the start-finish line. Again, no need for anyone else to pit to the end unless your tires are cooked. So if we get a yellow, I imagine most of the field would pit anyway just to get fresher tires on something with a little bit more grip on the run to the end. Again, Dawson being pushed here by Lion Mane, and they keep going side by side because I really think that these two are going to try and block the entire field behind them. I don't know how well of a strat that's going to be, but that seems to be what they're going for. Eastman falls back to third in this group as he is now trying to push Savage Speeder on the outside line. And his Adam RPG on the inside line. Cam Black is still 7th in this pack right now. He is saving fuel. Now, we don't expect fuel is going to be too much of an issue for anyone here. 31 laps to the end. It might be close, but it shouldn't be the worst. Saving about a lap of fuel should not be that hard in a pack, as long as you're not out there leading for the entire time. But Cam Black is running in 7th right now. I have to wonder, what does he have planned? What does he have in mind? Cam Black showed a lot of capability at Sunset, but just track position didn't work out for him near the end. Are we going to see a repeat of that now, or does he have something as we're coming down to 24 laps to go here? Again, I wonder what is going to happen with Dawson and the lap car of Lion Mane that's with him. Are they going to try and hold off the entire lead pack here? Adam RPG and Savage Speeder still side by side at the head of the field. Savage, remember, started on the pole for today's event. The 8's on the outside, the 59's on the inside. Tazebot, your points leader, is second car on the inside line. Deed Speedman with those burnt up tires is second car on the outside line. And then your third place driver in points is Ghost Reaper. He's 5th on track, third car on the inside line right now. Side by side, again, briefly, between Dawson and Lion Mane. And they're 3 wide as now we see Deed Speedman trying to work the outside line. Savage goes wide and blocks him, and Deed very nearly crashes there into Ghost Reaper. Deed tried to make the outside line work, and Savage said, "You're knocking to my outside," through a block. Somehow all 7 cars still facing the same direction though. And now the 56 of Adam goes to the outside line because they see those lap cars coming up, and there's nothing to suggest that they're going to back off. Deed Speedman coming back to the outside again. He's trying to make it 3 wide again. He doesn't care that his tires are burnt up. He's going for the outside, but does not have the momentum to make it 6. And now they basically caught the draft of those 2 cars they are going to be going a lap down. It is Tazebot who's on the inside line. Are we going to see Dawson try to do some big bang strats, trap the 00 on the inside along with the 27, and try and force them backwards in this pack? Because if he can make that stick and then keep them from being able to gain any more position going forward, it'd be great. But it may not matter now, because now the 00 of Taze goes to the outside. Ghost Reaper now leads on the inside line. Tazebot leading on the outside line. So now drivers leading the inside line, but the moment they get ahead, they're moving up high because they see those lapped cars, and they do not want to be the first one being held up by lapped cars right now. Coming down to it will be 21 laps to go as they come across the start-finish line, this time by. And the pack's going to get big. It's going to swell to 9 cars here. This will be the most interject the pack has been for a long time. Ghost Reaper leads on the inside line, gets a big draft from those lapped cars, but now he's going to commit to the outside. It looks like it's going to be PRG Black who's going to be trapped on the inside there. Yes, Black is the one trapped behind the lapped cars, and both Ghost Reaper and Tazebot will sail around on the outside with minimal issue there. Oh, and that's an accident! And that's 3 of them! Dean Speed is involved! Savage Speeder is involved! PRG Black is involved! A multi-car accident at the head of the field. Is that going to bring out the yellow? Savage already into the pits. And yes, that's a yellow with 20 laps to go. Like we always have in this series. We're going to go ahead and take a Twitch mandated ad break. We'll be back momentarily here at Daytona. All that setup, all that strategy, we're on for a really interesting fight. All out the window now, again, like it always is in this series. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Daytona. When we go green, it will be with a little bit more than 15 laps left. Under this yellow flag, Tazebot, Ghost Reaper, and Adam RPG have all elected to stay out. Now with this yellow, we know everyone will be good on fuel to the end. These drivers also believe that the tires are not really going to matter too much, so they are taking track position to get back up to the front here of this field. So it will be Taze, Ghost Reaper, and Adam RPG. But of everyone else who pitted, Cam Black was the first one out. And look at this here, Waterfire and Boss Racer Pro. Now all of a sudden, both of them are going to be back in the fray here. Several lap drivers such as Dawson and Gen 3 also going ahead and pitting. But we're going to be under this yellow flag for a little bit of time. It's going to take quite some time for the field to get properly gathered up, I imagine. So a multi-car crash involving PRG Black and Savage Speeder, 2 of our top runners, is going to gather the field all up. And with the exception of Hockey, who is still 2 laps down, and then the duo of Lineman and Learard, who are both DNF'd now, we'll have 13 cars on the lead lap. And regardless of how good or bad they've been running all day, any of the 13 can win it. It's Daytona. Weird, goofy things happen here. Looks like the field's already doubling up, so I guess we're going to be going green coming to lap 143 here. So we'll be going green with 18 laps to go. No one has to worry about fuel. No one should have to worry about tires either. So we'll be going to the green flag here. And can we run these last 18 laps without incident? That is the big question. As they come down to the start-finish line. Green flag, and Tay's got a fantastic jump on the outside line. And it'll come down right in front of Ghost Reaper. Keep an eye on Dawson. Dawson knows how to go from the back of the pack to the front of the pack in just a handful of laps. And now this accident has put Dawson's championship hopes back to life. He's still well behind Taze and Ghost right now, but if he can make his way up to the front and Taze or Ghost gets shuffled back down the grid, Dawson has a serious shot of closing his gap back down in the title fight. Going down the back straightaway, and now they come into the banking of turns 3 and 4 once again. No big forward movement from Dawson, not for right now at least, as we ride on board with his number 96 machine. Tazebot and Ghost Reaper are your leaders at the head of the field right now. We've seen a lot of names that we weren't seeing at the head of the field earlier. Now they're back. JDM Culture is back in the fray. Gen 3 is back in the fray. You know, we now have Adam 24, 1995. He's back in the top 10 as well now. He is actually a driver right ahead of Dawson 14 at the moment. Still side by side between Ghost Reaper and Tazebot at the head of this field. Dawson seems to be stuck. He doesn't seem to be able to make any moves right now, as everyone is near gridlock 2 by 2 by 2 through the entire field right now. Cam Black is the second car on the outside. Now he looks to the outside. Cam Black trying to go and make it 3 wide as they go into turns 3 and 4. 3 wide. Cam Black has some drafting help behind. The 27 doesn't really have that much, but the outside line, that extreme outside line is slow mid-corner, and he's going to fall back in line behind Ghost Reaper. And now Ghost Reaper gets a great run coming out of the make in turn 4. Side by side for Lee at the line. Ghost is the one who led the line that time by. Now, side by side, going down into turn number 1 once again. The 84 still on the outside. Will he make a move? If he does, will he be able to make it stick? We've seen him go 3 wide multiple laps in a row, but it usually ends up with some level of chaos shortly afterwards. The Chumba Casino cars, a Boss Racer and Waterfire lined up nose to tail. Second and third cars on that inside line. Now the 84 Gold Machine gives a huge shove to Ghost Reaper there. Still no forward movement from Dawson. There's just no momentum in the pack right now. No one is leaving any room for anything at the moment, it would appear. We still have 13 cars all in this big pack. They come down to the line. 15 laps to go now at Daytona. Down into turn number 1 again. First place in points and third place in points. Ghost and Taze neck and neck. Deed Speedman goes, looks to the extreme outside, and there's an incident back there. Multiple cars involved. Gen 3 is involved, but he's got away. Dawson is involved. Adam 24, 1995 is involved. It looked like Adam ended up turning Dawson. I couldn't tell if Adam got up into Dawson or if Dawson came down in front of Adam, but Dawson very nearly went upside down. 3 wide at the head of the field as the 84 now looks to the outside, and the Chumba Casino cars are side by side as well. It's still the same duo of Taze and Ghost Reaper side by side there. Are we not going to have a yellow for that incident? We may not have a yellow for that incident, but they are 4 wide with one of the Chumba cars below the double yellow there. And there's the yellow flag. Took a little longer than anticipated, but there is your yellow flag. Adam is spun again at the end of the straightaway. It seems like he cannot keep control of the car. The damage is so severe on him right now. This is going to be good news for Hockey. He'll go from 2 laps down to just 1 lap down. And if Adam runs, if it takes Adam too long to get around here, he might end up going a lap down. We are under the red flag, apparently. I don't think that incident was worthy of a red flag, but we are now under a red, and someone else is driving backwards on track. Gen 3, who was one of the other drivers involved in that incident, it seems. So under this red flag now, this will be enough for Adam to limp his damaged car back into the pit lane. So we'll be back under yellow. This means that more than likely when we go green, it will be with about, well, if the leaders don't pit, we could probably go green right away. If the leaders do pit, we're likely not going to go green until about 11 laps to go here. And there they are. It looks like they're going to let Hockey go around and get one of his laps back now. Alright, I hope. Yeah, okay, my mic's still being picked up. Oh my god, are you serious? Did we really just have an accident under the yellow? We did. We just had an accident under... Oh my god. Ugh. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Daytona. The red flag is over. Right after the red flag is over, we had another accident under yellow, but it doesn't look like anyone was damaged. Everyone is gathered up. I guess no one else is going to be pitting. So we're going to be going green with what will be 13 laps to go here at Daytona. Can we get a good, clean run to the end? That is the question. Tazebot on the inside will take them to the green flag here. Tazebot on the inside. He won last week. He has won 3 of the 6 races we have already had this season. His stretch of runs this year has been absolutely incredible. He's got Ghost Reaper on the outside. Ghost Reaper is coming off of back-to-back third-place finishes. He'd love to go 2 spots better and steal his first win of the season as well. Then you have Cam Black. Cam Black has shown quite a bit of capabilities. You also have the 2 Chumba Casino cars of Boss Racer Pro and Waterfire. Waterfire talked a big game last week about Daytona, how Daytona was going to be his. He's putting himself in a good position to maybe make that a reality. Cam Black suddenly starting to lose ground on that extreme outside line there. Cam Black starting to slip backwards to the field. Dawson, who is second in points, is still stuck in the back of this pack. He was involved in that last incident. He just doesn't seem to be able to make moves forward in this big pack late in the run. He is stuck in the middle of 3 wide here. They're 3 wide ahead of him as well. He goes to the extreme outside, trying to give a push to JDM Culture and that Gatorade Toyota. Big shove on the outside. The 96 gives to that Camry. It's 2 Mustangs and a Camry. 3 wide for a lead. 3 wide for a lead. Can JDM Culture take this momentum to the front? On the extreme outside line he comes. JDM Culture still being pushed. The Chumba Casino car is pushing 2 other guys in the championship fight. And no, the 26 car could not make that extreme outside lane work. Not that time, but now they're building up another big run as they come down into the trioval once again. It is Ghost Reaper in the middle that leads that time by. They're still 3 wide at the head of the field. There are 3 wide for 4th as well. There are also 3 wide for 7th. It's 3 by 3 by 3 at the head of the field at Daytona. 11 laps to go. This time it looks like that camera machine has a little bit better run. Will it be able to clear the 27 as they go down the straight this time? No, they are not. That outside line completely disintegrated that time now. Going to lose a huge amount of momentum. Now it's just back to being Ghost Reaper and Tazebot side by side there. 26 is still trying to be shoved on the outside, but the outside line just isn't working. The 00 briefly has a chance to block the outside line. He chooses not to. Tazebot continues to hold the inside. Ghost Reaper working on the outside. Dawson trying to do that extreme 3rd outside lane, but that lane is going nowhere fast. They're just slowly hemorrhaging time as we continue to run here. 10 laps to go at Daytona. Still 3 by 3 by 3. This time Tazebot is running a little bit wide as Waterfire gets to his rear quarter panel in an angle that may not be ideal for Tazebot. Waterfire still running right there behind Tazebot in that 00 machine. Is 3 wide at the head of the field, 3 wide back there again. JDM Culture has a fantastic push on the outside again. Tazebot washes just a little bit wide again. The outside line bleeding off time once more. 00 side by side with the 27 as they come out of turn number 4. Side by side, it looks like Ghost Reaper is easily going to lead, but he has to move up high to block Boss Racer Pro. Boss Racer Pro now goes to the extreme 3rd outside lane. Tazebot leads at the line, but just barely. The gap was so small, the game could not even register it. Still side by side at the front between Taze and Ghost Reaper, but now there's a car that slicks the outside wall. Taze is being pushed higher and higher up the track by Waterfire. The number 97 is giving the 00 the evil juju pushes as you go through the banking, and that is really compromising Taze's runs here. If it gets too bad, Taze might end up going to the outside wall and taking other cars with him. That other Chumba Casino car, though, Boss Racer Pro, has now fallen out of the top 5 all the way back to 9th, and now it is Deed Speeman who is trapped on that extreme outside line. Waterfire, still second car on the inside. Second car on the outside now is Dawson. It's taken him a long time, but now Dawson is back up to the front. The thing is that cool, Dawson is back at the front. Now he goes to the outside. Our top 3 in the championship are 3 wide at the head of the field. Dawson on the extreme outside. Ghost Reaper in the middle. Taze on the inside. Taze gets another evil push from behind, but he's going to maintain his lead coming out of turn number 2. Now we see Ghost Reaper surge ahead. He's going to move in front of Dawson. Dawson goes even wider. Attempted block by the Mustang. Not enough. They side by side, 3 wide, still at the head of the field, but the 96 now has no drafting help. He falls immediately out of the top 5 positions in the process. Dawson is trying to do everything he can to make something stick. Black goes below the double yellow line as they go into the tri-oval. Everyone barely keeps it on track, it seems. All 13 cars still on it, but it seems like Ghost Reaper and Tazebot have a pretty solid lock on the field right now. They are not going to let a third driver get into it. It is going to be between this duo to the end, more than likely, unless one or both of them gets turned here. Coming down the back straightaway once again. The 84 is on the outside. Cam Black has been fantastic. He's been one of the best drivers all day today, but it seems like position just isn't working out for him. I don't know if Cam Black is going to have the stability and the confidence in that gold 84 machine to try and wrap it around the extreme outside and go 3 wide, and I don't see Ghost Reaper willingly giving that spot to him. Again, remember, Ghost Reaper is trying to keep his championship hopes alive. Tazebot is trying to open up an even bigger gap in the championship. They came across the line, 6 laps to go here at Daytona. Down the front straightaway once again, and into turn number 1, the 00 still holds the inside, the 27 on the outside. The 84 is the second car on the outside. Dawson is the third car on the outside once again. Dawson looking at the extreme outside in turn number 2, not going to commit to it. Now he commits to it as they go down the back straightaway. Dawson trying to go to the extreme outside line. They're going to squeeze Cam Black there. They're 3 wide all over the place for second position and third position. And it's so crazy, it's hard to tell who's where now. Taze still leads barely. Someone is hard into the wall farther back there. That was Hockey. Hockey has had a humongous hit on the outside wall in turns 3 and 4. His car is absolutely destroyed. I don't think anyone else was involved. I think it may have just been him. We might stay green as we are now 5 laps to go at Daytona. Once again, our top 3 in the championship, Dawson, Ghost Reaper, and Taze, side by side, 3 wide at the head of the field in formation, but Dawson needs more help. Can he get some? Adam RPG and that Red Bull machine is showing up on the outside line. Is he going to try and push Dawson a little bit more on that ultra extreme outside line? It won't matter. Now we see Ghost Reaper move up high, try to block. Now he comes back down low. Now they're 3 wide again for a lead. 3 wide once again at the head of the field between our top 3 drivers in the championship, but Taze seems to have the advantage on the extreme inside line through the corner. As they come out of turn number 4, they're still 3 wide, but as they come across the line, it'll be the car in the middle. It will be Ghost Reaper who leads when they go across the line that time by. Now it's just 4 laps to go here at Daytona. Once again, Dawson still on the extreme outside line. He's got a little bit of pushing help in that Red Bull from Adam RPG. It is Cam Black who is pushing Ghost Reaper on the middle. It is Waterfire pushing Tazebot on the extreme inside line. Savage Speeder is there as well, but there's nowhere for him to go. Same with PRG Black, who is 8th in this pack right now. Top 8 have opened up a small amount of a gap between themselves and the rest of the field, as it looks like Adam, Boss Racer Pro, Deed Speedman, JDM Culture, and Gen 3 have all kind of lost touch with this lead pack, but that could change at almost any moment now. They come out of turn number 4 again. Dawson not nearly as close this time, so it's just Taze and Ghost side by side again as they come to the line. Once again, Ghost leads. 3 laps to go here at Daytona. 3 laps left here at Daytona, side by side. It is 3 wide for a third position again. Dawson still trying to make the extreme outside line work. Actually had a relatively good run that time. Briefly gets alongside Ghost Reaper in the apex of turns 1 and 2, but still falls back to being side by side for 3rd spot, not for a lead until you go down the back straightaway. Down the back straightaway once again now. A big run by Dawson on the outside. Dawson gets the nose all the way ahead of both Taze and Ghost as they go into the corner this time. The 97 gives the 00 another little bit of a shove, but this time I think Taze was ready for it. I think Taze is starting to be ready for the shove that he is getting from Waterfire. 3 wide once again for a lead as they come across the line. Once again, it is Ghost Reaper who leads in that middle lane. It seems like that middle lane is well enough balanced that it has been leading every single time that they come to the start-finish line. 2 laps to go as they go through turns 1 and 2 again. Still have this 8-car pack. It could be any of them. All it takes is one bad shove from one of these top drivers and everything could go pear-shaped for any of them. But it is still Ghost Reaper and Tazebot neck and neck. I don't think there's anything. There is a move. Waterfire looking to the inside. Waterfire looked to the inside. Tazebot could not make it stick. There was no room there. No change. But Waterfire is showing that he is not willing to stay loyal to Tazebot. Waterfire said a week ago he was going to win. He's going to try to. Here we go down. White flag in the air at Daytona. Ghost Reaper still in the middle lane. Still leads at the line. Tazebot on the inside still. Oh, and that's Adam who gets into the wall. Savage Speeder may have avoided it. Yes, Savage Speeder avoids it. There's now just 6 cars. It is 2 by 2 by 2, or 3 by 3, I should say. Just a trio of 2-car tandems pushing to the end here. This is going to be insane. The 00 being pushed by Waterfire on the inside line. They are hemorrhaging ground. Now the 97 looks to the inside, breaks the draft for the 00. Come around the outside. It's Dawson being pushed by 7 Speeder. The 27 of Ghost Reaper still on the inside line, but now Ghost Reaper has lost his run. The 00 comes up high. He tries to block. Now he comes back down low to block the 84. Side by side they come to the line. Checkered flag is waving. Who's gonna get it? As the 8 goes around, and it's gonna be Ghost. Ghost Reaper gets the win. Tazebot, I believe, got second. Third place either went to Dawson or Cam Black. Waterfire got 5th. 7 Speeder spun as they came to the checkered flag in 6th. But Ghost Reaper gets a victory. And while it's not much, that might just barely keep his championship hopes alive here at Daytona. That was incredible to see at the end. They were in perfect 3 by 3 formation for most of that final lap. And they were still side by side pretty much as they came to the checkered flag. But your winner here for the Firecracker 400 at Daytona is Ghost Reaper. We're going to go ahead and take a Twitch mandated ad break. And when we come back, we will talk with some of our top finishers here at Daytona. Excuse me. Hello, Ghost. Can you hear me?
I can. I got my audio included already.
All right. Awesome. Excuse me. I'm waiting for this Twitch mandated ad break to end, and then once that's over, we'll get this going properly here.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you back here to Daytona. A fantastic finish here at the end where everyone was in a perfect formation for a good chunk of that final lap. But your victory in the end was Ghost Reaper. Ghost, fantastic time out there. You led a bunch of the laps near the end, including the most important one at the end. What do you have to say about your run out there?
Big thank you to Taze for being a good teammate there and helping out. I wasn't quite sure if I was gonna be able to get it there because off of 4 he came up in front of me, but then he went back down and I just had enough of a draft to pull back up in front of him. Not a whole lot to say other than damn caution at the end again. That kind of bunched everybody back up and made it a little bit more hectic, but I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, it does seem to be the sad trend in this series. There always seems to be some sort of yellow with about 20 laps to go or less. Still, fantastic run. You close in on Tazebot and 5 points in the championship, and you're going to close in by more than that on Dawson for second as well. Do you think, with 2 races left in the season, do you still think you have any sort of hopes at the championship?
I don't know. I think Taze is gonna have a really good shot at Watkins Glen next week, and then Indy in the rain. That's gonna be anybody's race right there. It's gonna be close. I know that for sure. I feel like at this point I'm just fighting for second and trying to help my teammate Taze to the championship.
Well, if it's coming down to fighting for a second, you did a good job to take another chunk out of Dawson's advantage over you, so you're definitely making good progress there, mate. Anything else you want to say, Ghost, after that fantastic win there?
No, I believe that's it, other than AVM on top.
All right. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us, Ghost. You absolutely can celebrate that hard-earned win. And now I want to talk with our second place finisher, Tazebot. Taze, make sure your audio is included. You keep your streak of top 5 finishes alive, and you continue to extend your lead over Dawson, but you're so close to sweeping all of the plate tracks on the season. Is there anything different you could have done, Taze?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I probably could have won that race if I would have not have gone back down to save Ghost from going into third place. It was really just a team matter at that point. He's gonna get closer to second place. It's not gonna do much for me. As long as I keep my position going into the last 2 races, I'll be fine.
Yeah, good point. You are just thinking championship right now. There's not really a whole lot else to say. Ghost seems to think that there was a lot of give and take between the two of you at the end. Was it really give and take, or is it just the way the chips fell ended up with you behind him at the end?
I had to run off of 4. I got in front of him. I saw a guy bottom run up on Ghost. I definitely would have won the race, but I didn't want to take Ghost's chances away of even getting a podium off that last one, so he got the win fair and square.
All right, well, it seems pretty straightforward. Okay, Watkins Glen next week. What can we expect from you there? Do you think you can lock up the championship next week at Watkins Glen?
Not so much lock it up. Definitely a top 3, like we've been doing for the last couple of races. It's gonna be a good battle. We'll get practice in, but it'll just be another race. A race to win, another race to lose.
All right, well, that's the word from Tazebot. Taze, thanks for jumping in. You two can go ahead and jump out of the party real quickly, just so it doesn't crash when I try to invite other people here.
Yep, take care.
We're going to try and reach out to Dawson 14 and Cam Black. We're not quite sure between the two of them which ones actually ended up in third and which one of that duo ended up in fourth. That was a little bit tighter than it looked to be. We know that Waterfire came home in the 5th position, though. And coming into the party right now is Cam Black. Cam, can you hear me? Yes, I hear you. In the Xbox party, there should be a little box to check that will say include my audio. Can you go ahead and hit that? All right, awesome. Cam, it has been a fantastic time out there. You spent a huge chunk in the middle of the race right up there leading, but like at sunset, great potential, but just not the right place at the end. Is there anything different that you think you could have done out there, Cam? Okay. Deed, did you just crash? Deed, you just crashed the party. Deed, you crashed the party. Deed, you ruined... No, Deed, come off of it. You jumping in just ruined the interview I was in. It literally kicked them from the party. Please leave. No, we had somebody. Please step out if you can. I apologize for that technical issue, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that's not killed our interview with Cam Black altogether. All right, coming back. All right, Cam Black, can you hear me? sorry about that. Someone else insisted on jumping into the party, and it kicked you out when they jumped in. Re-include your audio. You said the inside line opened up for you, and then after that you got dropped. I apologize for that, but continue. All right, next week, it's at Watkins Glen, completely different type of track. What can we expect from you there? All right, well, it's definitely going to be worth keeping an eye on you there, mate. Cam Black, it's only been your second race, but you put together 2 fantastic runs. It's great to be able to talk to you at the end of one of these races as well. I look forward to hopefully talking to you more at the end of more races going forward. All right, and that is the word from Cam Black. We're going to go ahead and try to talk with our 5th place finisher, Waterfire now. It will be back-to-back 5th place finishes for Water. Water, are you able to hear me? Can you go ahead and include your audio?
Yeah, I already did.
Awesome. Well, Waterfire, the bad news is last week you told me you were going to win. It didn't happen. But the good news is back-to-back 5th place finishes, and you were 1 spot ahead of your biggest rival in the series as well. What do you have to say about your run out there?
I feel like I messed up my pit strategy. I ain't gonna hold you. That whole pit sequence, I didn't pit for tires, and that entire ride had like 99% on every tire, bro. And I got lucky by a caution, and I was gonna force it 4 wide, and I realized it's not worth wrecking the entire field for the win, man. And I could have won if I didn't mess up my pit strategy, but I wanted my teammate to win, but he got wrecked out, and he needed to win. So we're out of the race to win it all. But at least I came 5th, so you know.
Yeah, back-to-back top 5s. After the controversy you've been involved in earlier, you've definitely bouncing back.
Controversy, yeah.
Yeah, you've really bounced back and really showed that, you deserve to be here. You deserve to be with these people. So now, the question is, in 1 week's time, Watkins Glen, what can we expect from you at Watkins Glen?
Honestly, Watkins, I got Ghost and Taze, one of the 2 fastest drivers. What I need to happen for them, I need them to just wreck out, get damaged, and I can lead the entire pack. Because I can lead the pack at Watkins, but it's only a matter of time before I mess up, man. I know I am.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being bluntly honest about your strengths and weaknesses like that. I can't hold that against you.
Yeah. I think the goal is, if I can finish this year with top 5s back to back, I call that a championship in my plate, bro. I call it a championship in my books.
Well, as is right now, I don't think it's official. I think this is probably going to bump you for sure into the top 10 in points. And remember, Water, you also missed the season opener at Daytona. You're basically behind an entire race in points.
And I needed to win at Sunset and at Homestead.
Yeah. But yeah, you've definitely seems to be coming to life. Okay, any last things you want to say before we go ahead and let you go for the night?
No, next week on walk-ins, I'm gonna get a top 5 again. I'm gonna get a top 5. Trust. You're gonna see me out there in 5th, and hopefully don't get murdered. And that's it from the 97 car. And peace out, guys.
All right.
Good stream, by the way, leader.
Yep. Thanks very much. And that will wrap up our broadcast from our top 5 finishers. I'm going to try and reach out to Dawson one more time, but he may be busy and may not be able to jump into the parties. We're going to send one more invite out to him just to try and be nice. But again, if he is busy, we're not likely going to be able to get anything with him, because as Dawson is pretty much the head admin of the series, he normally, right after these races are done, he is normally immediately working on stuff here. Just stand by for a moment as we try to see if Dawson is going to be able to run with us at all. All right. Looks like we're not going to get anything from Dawson, but there's one other person who apparently wants to talk, and they seem to believe that they have something of significant value that is worth making a point of here before we wrap everything up. All right, coming to the party right now is Adam RPG. Adam didn't have a great run out there. Well, he had a good run, but got derailed near the end. But he seems to believe that he has some things that are very important to say. So, Adam, welcome to the party. In the Xbox party, there should be a little box to click to include your audio. Go ahead and hit that if you can. Adam, can you hear me? Adam? Adam, are you able to hear me? All right, there we are. Yes, I hear you. Okay, in the Xbox party, Adam, there will be a little box to click. It will say, include my audio. Can you go ahead and hit that? Yeah. So pull up the party. Pull up the Xbox party itself that you jumped into. And there should be a box somewhere in there that will say, include my audio.
There we are. Hello, everyone.
All right. All right, so this is Adam RPG coming into the party here. And Adam, good run out there. You led some laps earlier in the event, but everything kind of came unglued for you near the end. What do you have to say about your run out there today?
That was okay. The run itself was was actually pretty good. Just obviously very rusty because I don't do much of this anymore. But I had the pace to be up front. I was enjoying myself up front. There were some people out there today that certainly didn't know how to hold a line. But we'll obviously look into that. But look, all in all, I was pretty happy with how I drove tonight. I didn't get the win. I was definitely going for it. I felt like I could have, but just unfortunately got spat out the back there at the last moment.
Yeah, frustrating things to say the least, it seems. Is there anything differently you think you could have done in those last 10 laps or so that may have gotten you a better result?
Not really, I don't think. It's all about situational awareness, and you can always go back and think about it. What could have I done differently? And not really. I just found myself in a position where I got caught outside. I was trying to push Dawson around the outside to get, obviously, into first place. It didn't work for him. I definitely wasn't going to get dragged around the outside with him, so I decided to come down a bit. And I think one of the cars got into my quarter and slowed me down a bit. It wasn't a wreck or anything. It was just nothing intentional even. It was just hard racing there at the end. But all in all, I was pretty happy with how I drove.
All right. Well, frustrating things to say the least, but at least you seem to be happy with your own performance. Next week is Watkins Glen. What can we expect from you there when we get back to the road courses?
Basically nothing from me for next weekend because I'm going to be busy. But look, we'll. I think. Look, I don't even know if Jody. No, Jody. I don't think will be there, but I'm sure the guys will that are good specifically at circuits. They'll definitely be there, and the guys that are at the pointy end of the championship will be there as well. Turn one's always an interesting one, so keep an eye on that because they're almost completely flat out there these days. Just a little bit of a lift and maybe a touch of the dab of the brake. But yeah, Watkins is going to be exciting. It usually is.
All right. Well, that's the word from Adam RPG. Adam, thanks for jumping in and talking with us, and hopefully we'll see you in the future, mate.
What'll do? Talk to you soon.
All right. One last interview for the day because it seems like Dawson is not going to jump into us, but by popular demand, we're going to talk real quickly with Deed Speeman. Deed with the number 23. You went up there. Wait, Deed, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, and you got your audio included?
I do.
All right. Deed, you went out there, led a bunch of laps. Well, not a bunch, but you led quite a few laps trying to make that extreme outside line work. But tire strategy seemed to fall apart on you near the end. And then just getting involved in incidents near the end, plummeted you down to a 10th place result. What happened out there in those final 10 laps?
Well, it's just kind of hard to make anything happen when I'm facing a 7v1 against people who are too scared to make any moves. Side drafting pretty hard, just trying to keep the lead. And everyone was just bitching and moaning about how I was driving, but I'm just doing what I got to do, trying to keep the lead. So we had a really fast car, a really, really frustrating day. I don't really know what else to say about it.
Is there anything different you think you could have done that would have gotten you into a better position, or do you feel like the way things played out was basically the best possible things you could have done?
Oh, I could have done a lot of different things. Oh, geez, I could have done so much other shit. Just everyone, like I said, I was just like a 7v1, dude. Everybody was just freight training around me, trying to get around me. I think they're just a bunch of bitches. I think they were scared of what I could do, and that's it. That's all I got to say.
All right, well, next week is Watkins Glen, completely different type of track. We've seen that you have competence at the super speedways, but you're running sim steering. That seems to make your handling iffy. Road course, you're trying to run a NASCAR and sim steering. Are you going to be ready for that challenge?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm just going to put my foot down and hope I see God or a checkered flag.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and call God up and let him know to prepare a room for you then in that case. But anyways, Dean, thanks for jumping in and talking with us. Interesting time as normally we talk about the rivalry between Waterfire and Savage Spear, but now I guess we have another rivalry to talk about, which is Deed Speeman versus literally the entire world. And with that in mind, that'll pretty much wrap up our broadcast here from Daytona. A fantastic race, especially near the very end. And in a week's time, we'll be back at Watkins Glen. But until then, I've been your host for today's broadcast, Insanely 13. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Farewell and goodbye, everyone.